Okay, it is 6:30. Are we all here? Yes. No, wait, we're missing Commissioner Barry.
I do not see her on the other side.
Okay, all right, well, we're gonna get started. We do have a quorum. So welcome, everyone. It is 6:30. I am Commissioner Nigro, and welcome to our January meeting. And I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season and a very happy new year. So we are going to start this meeting, and I'm going to do the roll call. We are recording, right, Stephen? Yep. Do the roll call. 2G01. Howard.
Present.
Okay, 2G02.
Present.
2G03.
Present.
2G04.
Present.
2G05, Sheena is not here yet. Commissioner Barry will be hopefully zooming in soon. 2G06 is me. I am here. Thank you. We do have a quorum. Okay, and I'm going to flash the agenda up for people to see here. Oh, hold on a second.
I have it up if you want me to share.
Oh, yeah. No, I have a new one, though. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Let me do it back here. Oh, there's Sheena.
Everyone.
Hi, Sheena. Okay, so this is the here from the published agenda. What we had to remove was the fire department coming. They were busy with the President Carter funeral, so they are hopefully will come next month. And we added in let's see here. So for Nicole to be the designated ANC representative and potentially tabling of the hot box issue, that is the medical marijuana at cannabis location at 1703 6th Street Northwest, and also in addition to motion for additional expert assistance fund grant for the 501 New York Avenue BZA case. Any questions or additions from the commissioners?
Could you tell me about the hot box really quick?
So we're potentially going to table it, and then if Nicole, Commissioner Shea would be the ANC representative going before ABCA.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yep. Any other questions? No? Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, Commissioner McCarty seconds. Let me take this down here so I can see. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion passes. Great. All right, super. We're on a roll. All right, so next I want to introduce Marcus Whitaker. He is a former constituent for 2G06, and he is going to run our election tonight. And so let me explain to the audience the roles that we have. So we have chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary. I no longer want to be chair. I volunteered to be treasurer unless someone else has a huge desire to be treasurer, but all of these roles are important and key to functioning the commission. All right, so Marcus Whitaker, Mr. Whitaker, would you like to start?
Yes. Okay, so here is the order that the voting will go. We will first vote for treasurer, then chair, vice chair, and then secretary. So I'm calling for nominations for treasurer.
I would like to nominate myself.
I was going to nominate Michelle.
Second.
Okay, so we don't have to second. We're not seconding. We're just voting. So
okay.
Okay, so that was Commissioner Nigro and
Miss me. Unless anyone else, here's your chance.
Okay. So let's vote for treasurer. So Commissioner Nigro is up for that. We can raise our hands.
Okay.
That was easy. Okay. So Commissioner Nigro, you're now.
So say we have six votes, right? Just so we know,
Yes.
just if you could just say that for our recording secretary, great.
Okay, we have 6 votes for Commissioner Nigro for treasurer, so Commissioner Nigro is now treasurer. Now we will open up the voting for chair. So you can nominate yourself or call on a nomination.
I nominate myself.
I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay, since we have 2 commissioners going up for that position, we can allow each one of them to give a little speech in regards to that. So I can open it up to the both of you now.
If
I'm
you'd
happy
like to. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, happy to go first. So, as many of you know, I've been a commissioner for years. This is my 23rd year of service. I've served as the chair and vice chair of the commission on several occasions. The one thing that I'd like to try to do that would be different during this term is to increase the engagement with our community. I don't think that nearly enough people are aware of our meetings and participate in our meetings. And I would like to actually launch a campaign to increase the number of people that receive our notices for our meetings and can be more actively engaged so that we can truly be a more representative body. So that would be my pledge for serving as the chair during this term. Thanks.
I'll be brief. I really want to focus on a few things as chair. First and foremost, I want to really shore up our operations as a commission, including making sure that our committee meetings all have standardized meeting dates and times, that they submit committee reports that can be made public and shared with the public, and that all of those reports are uploaded on our website so that our website is both accessible and transparent to the public, so that no work ever gets lost between committee and commission and the public. I also want to make sure that, if we need executive committee meetings, we will schedule them so that all commissioners have the opportunity to weigh in on topics ahead of the formal ANC meeting and have discussions, as well as really just making sure that all of our commissioners, especially our newer commissioners, have access to the training and support that they need. That is oftentimes really hard to access from the district government. And then last but not least, I really want to focus on growing our committees, making them more community-led. So finding chairs that will be members of the community and who can really help us bring more members to their own committees, so that we have well-attended committee meetings as well, and that the work that they do feels more community-led, that they have a say in the work that we do and the feedback that we get, and that's translated again back into public reports that are accessible on our website and accessible to commissioners ahead of meetings, so we're well informed on the topics that we'll be voting on. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we can open up the vote. So we'll start with Alex Pedro. You can raise your hand for chair. Okay, so we have 2 votes for Alex Pedro. If we can now vote for Stephen McCarty. Okay, we have 4 votes for Stephen McCarty. So Stephen McCarty is now the chair for 2025. We'll now open up the vote for vice chair. You can send in a nomination or nominate yourself.
I nominate myself.
I'd like to nominate Howard Garrett.
Okay, because this position has more than one candidate also, we'll do the same thing as we just did. We'll allow both of you a couple of seconds to share why this role will be best for you.
I'll allow Howard to go first.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Howard Garrett, ANC Commissioner 2G01. Thank you, Stephen, for nominating for vice chair. I think the role of the vice chair in any capacity is to be of assistance and support of the chair, ensuring that they have all the resources and tools needed to succeed in that capacity. As the vice chair, if elected, I will ensure that I am on time, I come to the meeting, but also am aware and knowledgeable on how to run a meeting in the absence of the chair, and ensuring that all other commissioners, committees have all other resources to fulfill this potential and being effective in serving our constituency. So as vice chair, it would be my duty to ensure that the chair has the support needed to succeed, but also focus on the goals and the vision that the chair wants to put forth in making sure that they come to pass. Thank you.
And as I previously stated, I am one of the longest serving commissioners in the city, having served 11 terms. I have served as both the chair and the vice chair, and I would pledge to conduct the same campaign to increase participation in the commission's meetings by our constituents that I pledged to do if I had been elected to the chair.
All right, so we can now open up voting. So we will vote first for Howard Garrett. Please raise your hand for vice chair. Okay, 3 votes. If we can now vote for Alexander Pedro for vice chair. Okay, 2 votes. So 3 votes. So now Howard Garrett is the vice chair for 2025.
Wait, what's
Um,
happening? 3,
pardon?
2. Who didn't vote?
There are 6 of us, right?
Yeah. Who
Howard
didn't vote?
abstained.
Howard, you can
I-
vote for yourself.
You- Did Howard vote? Howard didn't
You can
vote.
vote for yourself,
No.
Howard.
I abstain.
Okay. Or you can vote, Howard, though.
Sorry.
You can vote. You don't want to
Okay,
vote.
well,
Okay. No, you if you don't want to vote, that was odd for me. Okay, but go ahead. If you don't want to vote, but right?
Should-
yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Should I move on to secretary
So
or repeat?
so we have 3 for Howard and 2 for Alex and 1
Yes.
abstention. Okay. So Howard's now vice chair.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Now we'll open up voting for the secretary. You can nominate someone or nominate yourself.
I'd like to nominate Alexander Padro.
Fine nomination.
I'd like to nominate Nicole Shea.
Okay, thank you.
You'll love it. And to tell everyone, we have a professional minute taker, so there's no minute taking. It's a whole different ballgame for the secretary. So
Commissioner Barry, would you accept my nomination for you as secretary? Okay.
No, thank you. I think Nicole Shea would do a great job. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Okay, so we will vote for, is Alexandra Pedro in this one?
he declined.
He declined.
Okay, got it. So now we can open up voting for secretary for Nicole Shea. Please raise your hand. Okay, so
Great.
6 votes there. So now Nicole Shea is the secretary for 2025.
Be great, Nicole. Don't worry. No one worry. All right. We are all set then. And Commissioner McCarty, would you like me to continue to chair, or you are welcome to? It's up to you.
Commissioner Nigro, I will let you continue your chair for this one last meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay. I'd like to thank Marcus Whitaker. Always good to see you. Thank you for your assistance tonight, and I hope to see you again soon.
Very
We
welcome.
appreciate-
Happy to help.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
All right, everyone, we're gonna start with the police report for 3. Do we have a police on the other side, though? Let's see. Has anyone zoomed in? Anyone
We
from the
do.
police? Oh, okay.
It looks like we have Commander Pulliam,
Oh,
but if we
fabulous.
have any other police, please raise your hand so I can make sure we migrate you over.
I love it that we have the commander here. Hooray.
I'm trying to promote Commander Pulliam to panelist, but I don't believe he's accepting.
Commander, we need you want
Oh,
to come over. Oh, there he
there
is.
we go.
There he is.
Welcome, Commander. We're happy to see you again.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we sure can. Go
All right,
ahead.
there we go. Sorry about that. You have to apologize. I have loud fans running in the background. We had a flood in the
That's fine.
house, so we are working our way through it. Um, so we don't have our normal reportings with it here today. All of our people are deployed out, unfortunately, from our extended January 6th posture all the way to the end of today's funeral. So I don't have my normal stats or my normal team with me today, but if anybody has any questions from the panelists, I will take those and we can continue to talk about. I know 7th Street has been a conversation here in this ANC. We've had a couple of activities down by the convention center. We had 2 break-ins of establishments down there. There's an individual who threw a rock through a window and is stealing tequila bottles from behind bars that we're out there looking for. But yeah, we'll probably just stop and take any questions or concerns you have.
So thanks for coming in, Commander. Actually, that's in my single member district. That was the Capitol Burger that had items stolen. And I guess my overall theme always is can we get extra patrols, not only in my single member district, but throughout 2G? Because listen, that's a corner establishment. There's people, you can't miss the Capitol Burger, but yet there it was. And this is not only this was not the first time that they have been robbed. So again, I advocate for foot patrol, anything.
So this is going to be an increased, one of the areas we've designated it as a burglary beat. So especially during the overnight hours, you're going to see additional resources down there. 7th Street, 9th Street, and the businesses off of those for exactly that reason.
Is that starting now or is that in the future?
That started the night before last. After they got hit, we put it in place.
Okay, could they
So
swing
it's
down
probably
the
not going to
alleys?
be as noticeable at the moment because it is just one person due to the fact that all of our folks are still deployed. But tonight is the last night of our full deployment until next for 1 week before the inauguration. But we should have a noted increase after we get back to our normal schedule next week.
And can they swing down my alleys, the alleys of
That's the
2G06?
intention. Most of the do badness goes happening in these alleys. So not only visibility from the street, but the alleys, the things like that, the folks who are loitering out there is what we're looking for.
Okay, good. I expect to see that then. So, and I'll email y'all probably next couple of days. I want to kind of do a roundup for 2G06 for the crime that occurred in 2024, because I don't think a lot of that was solved. And we did have that one murder, as I know, that I don't think was solved, but I'll email you offline if we could have just kind of a roundup. Commissioners, any other questions for the commander?
I do have a comment. I know there, Commissioner Shea is working on a meeting next week, but since I won't be present due to travel, there was a shooting right before Christmas at 7th and Rhode Island, right near Channing Phillips in Lincoln, Westmoreland. And there's a lot of elderly that stays in those buildings, and they're concerned about their safety. The community area where those tables are is like their breakaway of getting out of their house. And I walked past there, and I noticed that there weren't any cameras at that intersection. So I was wondering if that's something that MPD could look into, putting cameras at that intersection, because I've been told that there's a lot of activity in that parking lot by Channing Phillips, but also in the alley right behind it. Just want to be proactive and try to get as much eyes and assistance for that area.
So there's a big process that we go through in selecting locations for the cameras. But community input is one of those factors, as well as density of crimes and things like that, that they make those decisions based on. And we can put that in as an input request. I can't guarantee it'll happen. I would encourage the complex there to probably get some cameras on their exterior. There are some programs through the city available for rebates on that, things like that. If you wanted to speak with them, I'd be happy to go with you and speak with them about that as well and the benefits of that. I know Metro has some cameras on that plaza, but I think it's just covering their elevators down there. I don't think they stretch to the parking lot. But yes, that is something that we would consider, and I'll put that in as input. And if you wanted to go approach the apartment complex, I'd be happy to either myself or have one of my business team members come with you.
Perfect. I'll keep you posted an email and try to coordinate that meeting.
Fantastic.
Okay, Commissioner Shea?
Yeah, I'd like to just echo what Howard said, and also if you could, can you tell us a little bit about the I can't remember what you called it, burglary beat, what that is, and if something like that could be or is happening in any other parts of 2G.
So probably towards the end of summer last year, we had an explosion in a series of burglaries. You know, in DC generally, there's a very small number of people committing these offenses, and often they continue to reoffend until they're stopped. And last year we saw, not last year, 2023, we saw due to some legal changes, MPD was no longer legally allowed to pursue vehicles. We saw an explosion in carjackings and violence, including stolen and carjacked vehicles that we couldn't do much about because as soon as they fled from us, we were legally not able to do anything further. They walked back part of that law. They made some corrections. We were able to begin that last year. You saw our robberies and our carjackings drop, and we are working against a thinking and moving entity, and it seems that they have adapted and recognized that burglaries are not something that we legally are not legally considered a crime of violence that we can pursue vehicles for. So we've seen a increase from probably late last year of burglaries involving a vehicle full of individuals who will walk up, break a window on a business, go in and steal items, be in and out of a business in less than a minute. In the event an alarm sounds, we're generally response time is longer than that, and they're gone by the time we get there. They've hit numerous businesses in an evening, and it's been a challenge for us. We established what we call burglary plans that we were operating in the districts overnight. We've identified locations throughout the district that we see either businesses where they are not generally well traveled at night, or areas where people are generally not, that put them more at risk for this type of behavior. And we're deploying dedicated resources through the peak burglary hours, which usually pick up about midnight through about 6 a.m. There are some areas in 2G. I'd have to look at my map specifically. I know we have some in 2G 02, I believe 03, and now I think
I know there
05
was
and 06 is going to be our Mount Vernon one.
There
Go
was
ahead.
the night of smash and grabs across the city, and which is in 2G03, one of the businesses that was hit. Have there been any arrests from that?
So there have been a couple of nights like that. The most recent one, if you're speaking of, there have not been arrests. We located the car that they used in that offense 2 nights ago, recovered it, and had it processed forensically for DNA evidence. So we're hoping we'll get some leads from that. Some of the other ones we have had arrests from, we've identified the vehicles. There was one I can't think of the top of my head. It was an Infinity that was PG County Wave Unit assisted us in apprehending 3 suspects out of that. So we do routinely make arrests in these cases. They're generally not immediate. It's based on the evidence and what we get back from the forensic testing. But that case we have not made, the latest night we have not made any arrests from, though we did just recover the vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner McCarty?
Hi, Commander Pulliam. Thank you for being here. I'll keep this brief, but it does relate to Commissioner Nigro's request about additional foot patrol. As you may recall, you were here at our November meeting back in 2024. I raised concerns about package theft occurring in the 900 block of N Street Northwest and the 1200 block of 10th Street Northwest. We chatted about additional foot patrol, and I was very grateful that yourself and Sergeant Stevens did follow up on that. However, I have chatted with constituents and no one has really seen anything. Furthermore, when we had Lieutenant Herring on, Lieutenant Herring was unaware of any foot patrols being assigned unaware that we had discussed that. So I really just want to make sure that that is still on your radar, that you're still hopefully making plans for that for 2GO4.
Yeah, so foot patrols are part of our patrol strategy. We generally will not have a foot patrol dedicated for the entire tour, which is what most people think about. The folks that we do have out doing business interactions work out of our business beat, but in our response plan for this area, what we have is that every hour we're expecting members who are not actively running assignments to be out of their cars, walking and patrolling for at least 15 minutes in that period in the community. And we've identified several areas where we expect that to occur. Challenging part is finding not enough members where we're not all on assignments. Unfortunately, our staffing is still our primary challenge here at MPD and 3D. Unfortunately, 3D is the second lowest staff district in the city, behind only the second district.
Thank you. That's also very unfortunate to hear.
It is a challenge, but I mean, it's a challenge. Everyone's facing restrictions and challenges with personnel, but we are working within the realities we have and doing the best we can with it. So it is not going off our radar as an intention. I think people a lot of the times, and if I misspoke and said that we were going to have dedicated foot beats for the entire tour, that's not something that's really within our grasp of capabilities right now. But it is our expectation that we've made clear that the officers are out interacting with the community.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
and I know,
it.
especially because that 1200 10th and over there off of 9th and N has come up for us for some other things as well. So that is a focus spot where we do have some resources, and they should be seeing them.
Okay, thank you. I'll remind them to
Thank
keep
you.
an eye out.
Okay, anything else from the commissioners before I open up to the public? Nope. Okay, anyone from the public that would like to talk to the commander from 3D? Any questions, concerns? Here is your opportunity. Raise your hand, your virtual hand, or press *9. No. Okay, Commander, looks like you are off the hook then.
Well, thank you very much. I hope next meeting, we will have more of our return to normal format with my team, and I'll hopefully have my data folks with me as well. But I appreciate you making the accommodations for us today.
We look forward to the foot patrol.
Thank you. And the burglary patrol in your alley.
So wait, so is it only at night, late at night, or when am I going to see these people?
The burglary focus is from midnight till about 6 a.m. That
So
is
if I
our prime
wander,
time for.
So wait, so I'm all in my social media. I have to like go see them. So if I like wander at like 1 a.m., I'll see them around like 7 days a week or 5 days a week.
Should be every night.
Really? Okay. Great. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
All right. We thank you.
All right. Thank you all. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. So let's see. Is Brian here from Council Member Pinto's office? There he is. Hey, Brian.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, I'm outside at the moment, so my apologies, but I'll be pretty brief tonight. So good to see you all, and congratulations to all of you for your re-elections and for being sworn in again. Councilmember Pinto was sworn in for the start of her second full term last week. She's going to continue serving as the chair of the Judiciary and Public Safety Committee. One agency has been moved under that committee's jurisdiction, which is the Board of Ethics and Government Accountability, which is usually pretty familiar to all of the ANCs. It's also known as BEGA. Freshman council members do not chair committees, so the new Ward 7 council member, Felder, does not chair a committee. However, the now sophomore council members, Fruman and Parker, both do have their own full committees. Ward 3 council member Fruman is chairing the Committee on Human Services, which deals primarily with welfare, homelessness, and libraries. And Ward 5 Councilmember Parker chairs the Committee on Youth Affairs, which deals primarily with juvenile justice and rehabilitation issues. The Department of Parks and Recreation is now under the Committee on Facilities, which is chaired by Ward 4 Councilmember Louis George. There should be a link in the chat with all the different council committees, so you can look at those yourself if you feel like it. The council will vote on February 4th on whether or not to expel Ward 8 Councilmember Trayon White, who is not chairing a committee at this time. As far as the Judiciary and Public Safety Committee is concerned, we ended 2004 with crime down in every category, in every police district, and the lowest amount of violent crime citywide in over 20 years. Citywide, compared to 2023, violent crime was down 35% and property crime was down 11%. While these significant reductions are certainly promising, Councilmember Pinto plans to double down on what has worked and to continue to work on areas where we need more focus. In particular, she's going to remain focused on preventing crime, increasing staff levels at our public safety agencies, and merging our 2 violence interruption programs. This Monday, the 13th, Councilmember Pinto is going to host her annual Ward 2 Budget Forum virtually on Zoom at 7 p.m. There should be a link in the chat with the RSVP instructions and information on how to submit a request if you cannot attend. Typically, after the budget forum, the council member will send a public letter to the mayor with her priorities. We also encourage you to request meetings with or send your priorities to your 5 at-large council members, which includes the chairman. So please remember you have 5 at-large council members besides your ward council member. And also contact relevant committee chairs. So for example, if you want to see more funding for snow removal, you could contact Councilmember Brianne Nadeau, who chairs the Committee on Public Works and Operations. We also encourage you to submit your request to the mayor's office, and you can follow any instructions from Ty on that. The council will begin annual agency oversight hearings at the end of this month, and those go through March. With the snow this week and the Carter funeral today and the upcoming inauguration, obviously MPD and DPW are going to be very busy. Please be patient with them for delayed collections. I know leaf collection should be over in your area now, but was just getting started in the rest of Ward 2. Holiday tree collection is going on, trash collection and regular trash collection is going on. Please do use 311 for any issues or missed collections, but you can especially check their social media, DPW, because they just posted updates today. So there was supposed to be a slide of 1 day for residential trash collection. That remains, but they have now said that recycling collection will not slide and will move to next week. So they ask that you bring your recycling back in if you have collection the rest of this week and wait until next week for recycling. So I know that's inconvenient, but that is what they have told everybody. If you see an area that's in particular need of salt or shoveling, please reach out to me or Ty. I know it's pretty imperfect. I've been around Shaw and it's kind of a mess. But especially if you know a senior who needs help, let us know and we can try to figure out how to help them. And you can also still sign up for the senior volunteer shoveling program. If you're a senior and you need someone to volunteer, you can do that via 311. Finally, we'll be reaching out to each of you commissioners to schedule a brief one-on-one with Councilmember Pinto in the first few months of the new year to go over your priorities for the start of this term. And that's all for me. I thank you so much for letting me give an update.
All right, thanks, Brian. So I just one brief thing from me. You mentioned the snow shoveling. There's a snow shoveling law out there. And I don't know if Council Member Pinto can put the word out about how people should be shoveling their sidewalk, because otherwise it'll be neighbors narking on neighbors, and there are fines involved. But when I reached out to the director's office of DPW, they never really clarified, will the neighbors have to narc on each other? Because they're not certainly walking around. It's a problem in our neighborhood.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if she can do anything to assist and say, hey, there's going to be a fine.
Yeah, the fines are $25 for residential sidewalks 8 hours after a snowstorm if you haven't shoveled, and then $125 or $150 for a business or commercial space. However, I really have not ever heard of anybody getting a fine, and so we have a question into the Committee on Public Works and to DPW on how do people get fined? Are there inspectors? Are there sweep inspectors going around? And if DPW is on, please feel free to answer that.
Well, I've they've acknowledged there's fines, but it sounds like the neighbors have to narc on each other. That's what I think it sounds like. So, okay, that's my only thing. Okay, Howard, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon, Brian. I brought this up to Ty earlier this week, but just wanted to bring it to your attention as well, since we're on the subject of snow. Wilberger has not been treated, and it's kind of a mess over here on this street. You can tell that they treated it right in front of the Howard Theater, but stopped prior to coming onto Wilberger. So if we could add that to the list, hopefully before the snow this weekend, so the issue doesn't enhance, that'd be fantastic.
Certainly. Thank you. Yep.
Nicole?
Thank you. Brian, I wanted to ask about the sidewalks that go across alleys. Those are particularly icy. There's also quite a few residential walkways that have not been shoveled, but also pretty much every alley, even if everything else is done, the sidewalks where you're walking across the alleys are very icy. Do you know how those are supposed to be addressed, or who we can reach out to?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I know that the city doesn't do anything with alleys, really. We tried to ask them to salt this year, and we thought that was going to happen. I don't think it happened. And so I think it's probably just the closest property, which might mean nobody in a lot of cases, as you've probably noticed.
Okay. All right. And I also do think this storm, this is like almost like a New England storm where the ice is really sticking around. So it is getting pretty dangerous for folks now with all the ice. And so I think, I'd rather folks just take care of their walkways, but it may be that tickets will help people remember that this is their responsibility down the road. There was no question. That was just a final comment.
Okay, any other commissioner for, let's talk to Brian. Nope. Okay, any member from the public would like to talk to Brian from Councilmember Pinto's office, please raise your virtual hand or press *9.
We did have a comment in the chat about there not being an option in 311 to report unshoveled sidewalks. So Brian and Ty just want to make sure that that feedback is heard by both of you in case that is something you all can work on getting added to 311.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, we discussed it together earlier today. Yep.
Anyone else from the public? A question, press *9 or press *9 or raise your virtual hand. No one? Okay, Brian. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. And now we have Ty from the mayor's office, who I think was on. Yep. Hi, Ty.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Just wanted to start off by saying congratulations on the re-elections. Definitely looking forward to continuing to work alongside you all. I've been in this role for about 7 months now, and I'm happy to say that I finally have a Ward 2 liaison that has joined me. Her focus will be on ANC 2A, C, and E, which will allow me to provide more attention to 2G, which I'm excited about. I'm glad that Brian went first because all the updates that he shared were all kind of the sentiments and comments that I was going to share as well. But just emphasizing on just greatly appreciate your patience with DPW and our partnering agencies as they work with the conditions from the snowstorm. If there are any untreated, haven't been plowed, haven't been salted streets, please send me an email to flag so that I can escalate that to DPW. Brian and I have had conversations too. I know there has been a lot of conversation around what does it look like about finding our residential areas or even our businesses that have not kind of held up to their responsibility and taking care of their priority in that efforts. Still working on trying to get a firm, concrete response around what that looks like. But nonetheless, we want to make sure that that's still treated for pedestrian traffic safety. So please, anything again that hasn't been prioritized, has not been plowed or salted, please let me know. But also, please do have some understanding that if it is passable, if the streets are drivable, you can see the tire marks in the streets. It's not necessarily considered a priority, being that you can pass through. And then also the snow, I believe, does have to be a certain height, maybe approximately 2 inches from the ground to fully be able to have this full effect of plowing. So just a couple of things to kind of keep in mind as it relates to that. But talked to DPW earlier today, and I know they are continuing to work hour by hour to address a lot of the residential streets that haven't been serviced yet. So again, thank you in advance for your patience and continue to flag those untreated locations to me, please.
Okay, Ty, thanks. So here's my comment. I don't understand when you said like what this whole snow shoveling law, what it looks like. Okay, this law has been on the books for years now. I talk about it every year. It was a big deal when it became a law. This is probably a good I don't know, pre-pan, I don't know, 6 years ago at least, something like that. And I just don't get it. Why are we questioning what to do and all this? Now you're saying, what does it look like? How come they don't know? Or are they afraid to find residents? Just do it. It's a ridiculous conversation. I mean,
No,
this is,
No, I definitely understand your sentiments and frustration around that. I myself am still kind of learning about that process and kind of the communication around that. To I believe Brian's points, I'm not aware of there being any fines actually distributed when it comes to whether it's property owners or business owners not taking accountable for their area. But something, conversations that I'm having with DPW in hopes that I can have a more concrete response to relay over to you all.
but the whole thing is that by the time we have these conversations, this note will be gone. So it's just a
Understood.
ridiculous, it's just
Absolutely.
ridiculous. And another thing, I emailed you earlier, you had come before us and had said about the service center, and I had asked, this is service center in Chinatown, about, I asked, what does success look? How do you, what is it, how successful is the center? How do you measure the success for that center?
I can definitely pull a spreadsheet of the real facts and numbers to you. I typically do office hours there once a week, and I can say, just to kind of give some insight, majority of our um, kind of race concerns or topics are related to DHS, Department of Human Services, and DBH, Behavioral Health. And so, in addition to wanting to see a representative from the mayor's office, those related issues or concerns are specifically around those specific agencies on a day-to-day basis. But nonetheless, I can definitely pull some percentages and kind of real stats in terms of maybe the number of people that are coming in and out, but definitely would be helpful if there's specific concrete information that you're looking for, because I want to make sure that I'm able to deliver that to you. So if
Okay.
there's any specific areas, please, I'll follow up with you via email and just let me know specifically what kind of stats or data you're looking for, and I'll deliver that to you.
Okay, great. I will follow up with you. Thank you. Okay, commissioners, any other comments? I see, go ahead, Nicole.
Hey, sorry to be talking so much. I just actually got a text message from a resident of the 7-Eleven parking lot and walkways, and there's been no snow removal there at all. And it's basically just a sheet of ice. And there's another business at that same corner of that intersection where there's been no snow removal. And those are areas where many, many people are walking by. It's not very far from Asbury Dwellings, which is 147 units for seniors in the community. So, I think this storm, the ice is not going away. It's actually getting icier and icier. So I think attention needs to be paid to this, and this is going to be continue to be dangerous for people until the ice is removed.
I appreciate you flagging those specific locations. If there are any photos of the areas, that would be very helpful that I can add to the request to escalate that to DPW so that they
Okay.
can do a full inspection of that area. And also when it comes to a business location. And any photos that's going to be greatly appreciated just to add to the request in itself.
So I have an
Thank
idea.
you.
I'm gonna have an idea. So I'm gonna drive up to that 7-Eleven. Okay, I'm gonna take some pictures and I'm gonna report how a normal person should report it and then see what happens. Because this should be acknowledged. We shouldn't have to go to Commissioner Nigro or Commissioner Shea, do. It should be for a normal person should report on that business and DPW should take action. And I'm gonna see what happens with that.
Understood.
I'm not gonna have any high hopes though. I'm doing that tonight. I'm gonna get a hot dog.
It's just such a dumb reason for someone to fall and break a hip. Like, there's just got to be a way. I mean, these in particular, they're huge corners right across the street from the metro. There's a bus stop on either side. Everybody who's going to and from work in this neighborhood, like, more or less has to get by there. So these are not things that should be ignored.
No, yeah, definitely understand your sentiments. Have a similar situation in Logan Circle of a business where their full parking lot has not been treated. And so we're currently in communication with that and has been escalated to DPW and definitely want to make sure it's done the same for these locations also.
Okay, Commissioner McCarty?
Thank you, Commissioner Nigra. Thanks for being here, Ty. Just a little bit more on the snow and ice. One, I just had a constituent drop a note about Blagden Alley and Naylor Court. We know the alleys are not plowed, but can we get them salted more regularly? I did walk through and it's very, very icy. And of course, as you know, Blagden Alley has a lot of pedestrian foot traffic. Last thing we want is somebody falling and hurting themselves in the alley, or the residential side for Blagden Alley or Naylor Court. So I would appreciate it if you could add some attention there as well. And then last but not least, is DPW in charge of clearing out the curb cuts at intersections?
And so is it more for like a residential, like curb cut?
It's both. So I can tell you walking down 10th Street across 10th and Mass, both sides are completely iced. And so you have to be really careful not to slip and fall on your butt
Okay.
when walking across there. But this, honestly, I see it at every intersection in my neighborhood. Just the curb cuts are completely iced over. So I'm also deeply concerned about people slipping. And more importantly, those are key accessibility features. So if anybody has mobility issues or wheelchairs, it's Thursday. The snow happened 4 days ago, and I don't want them feeling like they're shut in or
Okay.
can't leave their home because they can't navigate our sidewalk safely.
No, I appreciate you flagging that. If it's not, I know it may seem a bit too much to ask, but if there are any photos available that you can share of those specific curbs, that'd be greatly appreciated. Um, I know, unfortunately, it won't necessarily be a priority based off the work that still needs to be done at this current moment. But I will definitely continue to advocate for 2G. Blagden Alley was a part of my notes earlier this week because I went through there. I believe it was on Tuesday just to do an assessment, and it was definitely flagged. But as it's been said, unfortunately, alleys are not treated. But I will continue to advocate to at least get some type of treatment, even if it's salted within that area. So I will flag it, but I can't say that that's going to be something that's going to be done. But nonetheless, like I said, I'll definitely advocate it and flag that to our leadership.
Thanks, Ty. I just have one more quick follow-up question. So
Yeah,
I know you have
absolutely.
the Serve DC Snow Hero program where people volunteer to help shovel sidewalks. Is there a version of that where you could bring me a couple bags of salt and I'll go to the curb cuts and get them salted?
Would be more than
Because
happy. Yeah, yeah.
I will do that.
Would definitely be more than
So
happy to deliver some salt. We can connect the time. So offline we can connect to whatever time and day works best for you, but we can definitely connect to provide those resources.
okay, thank you.
You're
Sorry,
welcome.
everyone. I can't promise I'm gonna do all of 2G06, but I gotta take care of my constituents and our curb cuts.
And
And
I'm going to share that with folks in 2G03 as well. Thank you so much.
just to add, I do have a presentation with resources on there, but I wanted to be mindful of time. So if there's a way, let me see. Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in the chat now,
Okay.
for everybody's view, so that you have just word updates, and information that may be useful to you.
So I just have one more comment and then I'll stop about the snow shoveling. So I asked in my email to the director's office, how come they don't put it on their social media? Fine, here's your fine, 25, whatever. They don't even do that. So who cares? I mean, come on. The law's on the books, advertise it and enforce it. It's ridiculous. All right. Anything else for Todd before we open up to the public? No? Okay, would anyone like to talk to Ty from the mayor's office? Please raise your virtual hand or press *9. Nope. All righty. We thank you for zooming in.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to see you all.
Okay,
And
we'll see you next
also
month.
just wanted to say, thank you for your patience. I was actually out of office for the past 2 weeks. I'm still catching up, and I'm almost there. So just thank you again for your patience.
No, fine. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
We thank you for
Ty.
your hard work.
Thank you, Ty. I appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Could you also please drop your email in after I move you in the
Absolutely.
chat? Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Okay, next we're going to have the Convention Center is always with us. Let's see who's on there. Who's on from the Convention Center that wants to come over here?
We've got Solana, and I'm
Oh,
pulling
great.
her over.
Hi, Solana.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Great.
Good. Congratulations to the newly elected commissioners. I look forward to working with you both. And congratulations to those who are reelected as well. So cheers to 2025. That being said, my name is Solana Vandernet. I am the Senior Manager of Community Engagement for the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. I'm happy to serve as a connection point between you and Events DC. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I will put my contact information in the chat. As a reminder, to learn more about Events DC, our programs, initiatives, and other opportunities, visit eventsdc.com. If you haven't already done so, please sign up for our electronic mailing list and follow us on our social media platforms. I'll put this information in the chat as well. Regarding the January event calendar, for the remainder of this month, we have 2 upcoming events at the Convention Center. Would like to highlight the following events. On Monday, January 20th, 2025, there will be presidential inaugural balls held at the Convention Center. The presidential inauguration, including the balls, is a national special security event, placing Secret Service in charge of all elements of security and safety planning. I'll include in the chat a link to the DC government inauguration website you may refer to for further information. Please note, the U.S. Secret Service has begun the process of meeting with Events DC to discuss plans which are not yet finalized. The U.S. Secret Service, as in the past, is working in conjunction with Events DC to host an invitation-only meeting at the Convention Center on Tuesday, January 14th at 6:00 p.m. for community leaders, residents, and business operators who can share information with their constituents, neighbors, and customers. I'll include the registration link in the chat as well. Please note the following. This registration link is non-transferable and only intended for the person to whom it is addressed, as this meeting is not open to the public. The deadline to RSVP is Monday, January 13th at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As a reminder, we strongly encourage this community to sign up for the Impacted Stakeholders Convention Center venue category on our mailing list. And as I mentioned, I'll include the link in the chat. Regarding our community grants program, applications are now open. Beginning this week, virtual grant informational sessions will be held every Tuesday and Thursday in January at 12:00 p.m. and 6:00 p.m. Registration is required. The application deadline is February 3rd. And to learn more and to register for the informational sessions, please visit eventsdc.com. And I'll include the specific community grants program link in the chat too. Thank you for letting me join this call, and please let me know if you have any questions.
All right, anyone have any questions for Solana? No? Okay, anyone from the public have a question for Events DC / the Convention Center? Lots of action coming.
Mhm.
No? All right, well, we look forward to communication with you very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Happy New
Thank-
Year.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Okay, commissioners, any announcements before I open up to the public for announcements? Alex, you have anything? No? Go ahead, Commissioner Barry.
This past Wednesday, we had a transportation and public space committee meeting. And I would invite everyone to come and be a part of those meetings so that you can make decisions on things that take place in this community, whether that's, sidewalks being fixed and you know, curb cuts or bike lanes, you know, just how things operate on the streets of ANC 2G. So I invite you to come to those meetings, look out for those notices. It is open to the public. And so I just wanted to put it out there that you are welcome to join those committees, and it is encouraged that you be a part of it so that your voice can be heard.
Great, thank you. Anyone else?
And just to tag back on that, that's a good point, Sheena, that you made. If I'm not mistaken, all committees are on the website, correct? They're able to see what committees that they're able to join, how to be involved, who's over it, that type of thing. That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, anyone else? No. Okay, anyone from the public that would like to make an announcement about an activity or event? Feel free to raise your hand or press *9. Oh. Hi, Kit. Hey. How are you? Congratulations.
Hey everyone, thanks. I'm glad to be on. I just wanted to make an announcement about my office. So my name is Ankit Jain. I'm one of our 2 shadow senators, our non-voting senators. I'm also a proud resident of 2G. Thank you to Stephen, my ANC commissioner, for making sure that I remember to come on and coordinating this, and thank you to my former commissioner Nigro for everything you do. So I just want to explain a little bit about my office and so let you know how you can contact me and what I can do when you contact me. So first of all, the first question I always get when I tell people that I'm our shadow senator is, what is a shadow senator? So for those who don't know, shadow senators are our elected advocates to the U.S. Senate, fighting for DC statehood and to protect our home rule from attack. I think of it as almost like our elected lobbyists for our rights before Congress. And I am one of 2. I was just elected this year and then just took office less than a week ago now. So I'm, the person who fights on our behalf before the Senate to make sure that things don't get worse and that we continue to try to make things better. So I wanted to come here for offer a few thoughts as I come here. First, I wanted to encourage people to reach out to my office. What I'm going to do is put in the chat the email address for both the staff assistant that I work with in the office and my own email address. And if somebody is able to, I think I can just send it to everyone. It looks like you guys have enabled that feature. So I'm just going to send it in the chat, and please reach out if you ever have any questions. The things that I'm hoping to do are one is constituent service. So we have an excellent delegate to the House of Representatives, Eleanor Holmes Norton, who can obviously handle constituent service requests. But you can always reach out to us as well. We have staff whose job it is to help direct you to the right agency and help agencies respond to you. And so we want to help you with your issues relating to the federal government in any way we can. And if we can't help, then we can pass it on to Delegate Norton's team and they can help you out. So again, this is for issues you have with federal government agencies, not local government that should go to your council member, but for federal government stuff like Social Security, National Park Service, that kind of stuff. We want to be a service and a kind of a resource to you all in the city. The second thing that I want to say is that I'm always looking for feedback. And so if there are things you think I should be doing or issues you want to bring to my attention, please email me or please email Karen, my staff assistant, to bring them up. I always find that crowdsourcing from the general public is you find a lot of stuff that you wouldn't find yourself. So please email both of us. I would suggest including Karen in any email you send, because she's the one who keeps the trains running on time. I wanted to just go on 2 more things. On the note of public feedback, we do have a budget, our office, that we can direct to certain areas that we think would promote statehood and promote home rule. So we're in the process of writing our 2025 budget right now. So if you have ideas on projects that would promote statehood that you think should be funded, please email them to me, and ideally within the next few weeks, because we're actively in the process of doing this. So I want to make sure that if people have good ideas, I want to make sure they're funded. So that's one other thing. I have two other things I wanted to mention. One is just this is democracy is not a spectator sport, and so there's going to be a lot of attacks coming from the Congress over the next 2 to 4 years, and we're going to need help beating them back. So we'd love for you to get involved. I'm in the process of setting up an official side website where you can sign up for my list host. That's not up yet, but if you Google my name in about like 3 weeks, it should be up, and hopefully sooner. And so we'd love for you to get involved in the fight to protect home rule, to fight for statehood, and generally move things forward. So I'll just give you one example of the positive stuff that we're hoping to do that you could get involved with. I've been very focused on federal funding for Metro. So one is we want to get funding to keep operations where they are and avoid the fiscal cliff that's coming. But in the long term, we want to expand Metro and making sure it serves more people. So there's a proposal it's called the Blue Line Loop, that would take Metro and have it go into Georgetown, to Logan Circle, to Mount Vernon Triangle, to Union Station, then down south to Navy Yard, Buzzard Point, Southeast DC, and National Harbor. And so that's something that I am very passionate about. I think that would be a great benefit, a transformational benefit for our city. And if it's something that you're interested in, please get involved. I'd love to have your support and your help in organizing to make something like that happen, and to specifically to get federal funding for a project like that. Because if we can get some federal funding for it, it's a lot more feasible for the city and the states of Maryland and Virginia to contribute the rest. But if you have ideas like that, just reach out to me and we can see if we can make it happen. So the last thing I want to say is that it's tax season, and when you're filing your taxes, you might have noticed at the very end there's a box you can check that says donate funds to support statehood efforts in DC. If you're doing it via TurboTax, there's like a different, you have to see additional options at the very end, and then the box will pop up. That funding goes to our office. So we get some funding from the DC Council, but we don't get a lot. And so we rely on that funding as well to help fund our office's activities. So if statehood is something you care about, my suggestion to you is when you're filing your taxes this year, check that box and donate, 10, 15, 25, 50, whatever you can, and that will go to our office. So thank you very much. Happy to be a service. Again, I am a 2G resident, so you'll see me around. And I don't know if I'm allowed to take questions, if anybody has any questions, but happy to take questions if I am allowed to, and if anybody has any.
Okay, commissioners, do you have any questions at all? Did you put your stuff in the chat? Did you put your information in the chat?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Any questions for Ankit?
I just want to thank Senator Jane for his service and support, and it is great for us to have such a distinguished representative residing within 2G. And I know that he will continue to be active on our local issues as well in our neighborhood, and really help amplify our voices. So thank you, Senator.
We thank you for your time too. And you worked hard on your campaign.
Thank you. Glad to do it and glad to be here.
Anyone have any questions before he zooms away? From the public, press *9 or raise your hand. Okay, well, we will definitely see you around, and we thank you for your service. Bye. Okay, so we have our first agenda item that we're going to vote on. It is the DDOT notice of intent, and this is at the intersection of 7th and Q Street. This is in Commissioner Shea's area, and this is a kind of a redo from last month where we had asked it to be tabled. So we have, I do believe Christoph is in the meeting here. He is from DDOT.
Actually, it's in both 2G 02 and 03.
Oh, that's right. Yep, correct.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
So I don't want to belabor this because we had revisited it before, but I don't know if you want to do a quick kind of roundup, Christoph, about what this is, and then Commissioner Shea and Commissioner Padro can address it.
Yeah, well, before I get started, just want to congratulate all the commissioners getting reelected and the new commissioners on getting elected. I look forward to working with you all. I also have my colleague with me, George Guerrara, on the project team. And so if you can promote him to be a panelist as well, that'd be great. So to kind of discuss what we had discussed at your December meeting, this is a safety improvement in response to a major crash at 7th and Q Street. As part of this safety improvement, we are going to be daylighting, which means to install flex posts on the corners of the intersection. Now, if you have the NOI up, it might be helpful to show the design that we have included there. Otherwise, I can share my screen and add it.
Yeah, I can share my screen.
Thanks, George.
Do you
So
see
this is, yep, we can see your screen. Thank you.
Mhm.
So it's a quick build safety improvement, and it will be bringing the bike lane to the curb on the approach side from Q Street on the 700 block side. It will also be bringing it on the south on 7th Street on the southern side of 7th Street, bringing it to the curb. It's also doing a curb bump out to protect pedestrians that are crossing the intersection. So that means that when pedestrians are crossing the intersection, instead of having to cross from the curb to the curb, they'll be protected until where those bollards are. This also reduces the turning angle for vehicles. So when they enter the intersection, they'll have to take a wider turn, and that protects pedestrians as they're crossing the intersection. So this is for all modes safety improvement. In the last meeting, we heard that there were concerns about loading in this intersection. So I know that there have been some conversations about how we can repurpose some of this space. There is a bus stop on 7th Street on the southwest corner of 7th Street, right here where that truck is. And that bus stop is going to be removed as part of WMATA's Better Bus Network. So in June, when they stop service on those stops, we'll be looking at repurposing that and making that a loading zone. And that's about it. I know that there has been a lot of communication from the community, and this was also discussed at last night's transportation meeting. So if you have any questions, George and I are here to answer those.
Yeah, just to add one more thing. So I think the main thing here is like to increase the safety of cyclists and pedestrian, and this bump out will help in terms of increasing a sight line for a pedestrian, between a pedestrian and a vehicle, since we create this bump out when a pedestrian is standing here in the crosswalk. It will increase, like in terms of like a sight line for a vehicle to see the pedestrian in the crosswalk due to this bump out. And also this being narrow at the intersection will reduce the speed of the vehicles approaching the intersection. We looked into the crash data in this location. In the last 5 years, we found that there was like 27 crash. Out of those crashes, 11 resulted in injury, and then there was also 2 crashes involving pedestrian. So this improvement will help reduce those types of crashes not to happen at this intersection.
All right, do you want to take that down and then we'll open up the conversation, Commissioner Padro and Commissioner Shea?
I'll let Commissioner Shea take the first stab at it.
Thank you. Thank you for walking us through that diagram, and also for providing the information about the accident data there. I would like to know a little bit about how this is going to work with, there's a larger, longer Q Street bike project that's coming down the road, and how those two would be working together, and also timing for this, in terms of when you would break ground, how long it would take, and then timing for that other project, or like prospective timing for it.
I can answer the question about the larger Q&R street bike lanes, and I'll let George answer the question about timeline. So this is an independent project. The Q&R bike lanes, we know that we've received a lot of interest from the community about having a study for Q&R and what it would look like in protecting those bike lanes. That is something that would come out of result of a strategic bike plan that we're working on, that our active transportation branch is working on, and that will then be deciding, what is a long range transportation plan for bike lanes in the city, because this is going to be a 2-mile stretch east-west corridor. So that's not going to be happening this fiscal year or next. So that's kind of a timeline on those two different projects. But this intersection safety improvement, some of the most dangerous areas for cyclists and pedestrians are at intersections and crossing intersections. So this is an independent project that's protecting cyclists and pedestrians at one of the most dangerous locations for them.
All right, thank you. And then one last,
go
ahead.
I'm trying to explain the timeline for this specific project. So we're planning to install this in the coming spring. This is a quick build, so we're going to use like flex post and pavement marking, so it's also easy to change if the larger projects comes and implemented. We're not using concrete or permanent structure for installation.
Okay, thanks. And then there's buses that go along those roads, and they'll still be able to make the turns there if they make turns. I don't know if any. I don't know. Some of the buses may go just straight across, but I know there are some bus routes along there.
Yeah, the bus route is on 7th Street, so it's coming southbound and northbound, so they don't turn to Q Street. So even if there is like tracks for SU 30, we make sure that the provided turning will accommodate those vehicles.
Okay, thank you.
So the committee last night, and I can let the committee chair provide a little report out from that, was concerned about potentially wasting limited funds on this project if the Q&R Street project was imminent, and obviously we've now learned that it is not imminent, so that is not an issue. We really did want to see some accommodation for loading taking place at the intersection, because that is causing significant challenges there. There was a loading zone previously next to Ambar restaurant that was eliminated in the Streetscape project that was completed several years ago. There's a significant number of hospitality businesses at this intersection that result in a large number of deliveries taking place every day, as evidenced by a truck even being captured in the photograph that was being used as the background image for the design for the quick build. So our inclination was to recommend a larger traffic study that would incorporate all modes of transportation, and as well as maximize safety. I guess my question is, what level of study was conducted in order to come up with this proposed quick fix? And is there a deeper level or a higher level of study that potentially could result in additional benefits being recommended that could further enhance safety for all users, including pedestrians and bicyclists?
When we did these studies, this is more reactive for the major crash happened in October. So we kind of like do a high level study in terms of that specific intersection. So basically we try to look into the crash data, and then also it's like some of the vehicle movement in that intersection. And then our focus is like resolving those like frequent types of crashes not to happen, like, and then protecting vulnerable users, pedestrians and cyclists. So we didn't do a deep analysis traffic study when we come up to this improvement. So these kind of improvements are a typical treatment we do in the intersection for protecting safety of pedestrian and cyclists. So we don't have like a bigger study. It's a high level.
So it it looks like a more comprehensive study could perhaps result in additional measures that could further enhance safety.
What was that? Can you repeat the question?
If DDOT were to conduct a more comprehensive traffic safety investigation here or study of this particular intersection, it could result in additional safety measures being installed that would have increased safety for all users as a result.
Yeah, that could come up with that. So that's why we use a quick build materials like flex post and PEMA marking. So that if we come up with more comprehensive study, and then if we have a different kind of recommendation, we can easily remove those flex posts and change it.
Okay, thanks for confirming that.
Okay.
Commissioner Barry?
Hello. So last night we had our meeting and there were a lot of concerns brought up about the pedestrian safety. And there's some things I would like to bring to light that I noticed after reviewing the intersection further, the diagram that you sent in the notice of intent. So one of the things that concern me is I don't see anything. Is there going to be a bike light that allows for when bikes could go and when pedestrians could walk, as is present on 9th and O Street at that intersection? Because a lot of times when you have designated bike lights or bike lanes and pedestrians cross, there's been a lot of issues with that, and that does not add to pedestrian safety. And also, it looks as if 7th Street narrows as you cross over Q Street. And that is a concern for me because when you are turning, I'm using 9th Street as an example, again, because that is a huge part of my single member district and of 2G period. And there's a lot of problems on that. And that's very easy for me to bring that up as an example to you. Because I think you're very familiar with those issues. But like when you turn onto 7th, when you turn onto 9th Street from O Street, the turn is very narrow, and it's so narrow that only 1 or 2 cars can turn at a light. And we also now have no turn on red signs up. So it does create, it doesn't make it more efficient to have the road narrow, to also have the no turn on red sign, to also have all of these restrictions. And then you say, this is making it more efficient for drivers. This is making it safer for cyclists. And most of all, this is safer for pedestrians. Because if someone is walking across the crosswalk if someone is turning from Q Street to 7th Street Northwest, and a pedestrian is trying to cross over 7th Street Northwest, it puts them in danger. It extends the time in which cars can turn down 7th Street. So I do implore that you do a full traffic safety study on this intersection. A quick build, I really do not have a lot of faith in DDOT to hear them say that we can just put these flexi rods up and we'll take them down because it's an easy fix. Nothing has been easy when it comes to getting things repaired in DDOT, from having a sign removed to having billers placed or removed or not placed. Everything has been a struggle. So that does not seem to be something that you could stand on based upon prior history with DDOT, at least in the 2 years that I've been commissioner. So what is your, the road narrowing at, narrowing 7th Street Northwest, what is the purpose of that? Even because there is already a bike lane and it's extending out further into the road.
So just to answer your question related to the light for the cyclist, we're not proposing to have a separate signal for a cyclist in this proposal. So cyclists will use the vehicular signal heads, and then for a pedestrian, we already have a pedestrian signal or pedestrian light to indicate that there is they can cross the street. So we're not proposing to do the separate light for a cyclist on this proposal. In terms of narrowing the intersection, so basically the idea here is like Kiwi Street is one way to the east. So the only movement we expecting to turn is from Kiwi Street, right turn to 7th Street. So we're not doing anything on that turning movement to restrict turning movement. So we just leave it open since also a bus stop in that corner. The other movement is we don't have any cars coming on Kiwi Street on the westbound. So the reason we just reduce that bump out by adding bump out is just to make to create more safety for a pedestrian by reducing the width of the crossing. So we don't expect any car coming from the Kiwi Street on the east side. So that's why we added that bump out. And this will help in terms of like visually reduce the width. And then like as the driver coming closer to the intersection, they will reduce their speed. And then also it will give more sight line to see if pedestrian is waiting for crossing at that intersection.
So I was aware that you didn't have a light for the bikes to go and to not go to protect pedestrians. I was making the suggestion that you include that to protect pedestrians because a lot of older residents complain about when they're walking past bike lanes or things of that nature, they appear to get yelled at or said or told that they're in the way, and all they're trying to do is simply cross the street. And I think it's important that we learn from our mistakes. And as we can see, 9th Street, there are a lot of mistakes that we can learn from that, including narrowing the road. And while there's not, I don't believe the road narrows, it narrows even past, after you cross over Q Street, it looks as if it narrows on that side completely the whole entire way. So it's not just a bump out of just the intersection to get drivers to slow down. After you cross, when you're coming from the west side to go up 7th Street, to go north 7th Street, the road is also bumped out. And that is a concern. That's a very tight turn to make if you have someone coming south on 7th Street Northwest. So I would ask that you not bump that out and that you consider the person that is going to be coming south on 7th Street Northwest, because that is a problem at 9th Street and 9th and O Street Northwest.
Yeah, I think one of our intention is like when vehicles are turning, we want them to reduce their speed so that they could look into like any pedestrian crossing in that crosswalk. So I think that the reason we're trying to have this bump out is like mainly so that the turning vehicles reduce their speed. In addition, like we also make sure that we run the auto turn so that the larger vehicle, so for this case is SU30, like the delivery cars, can make that turn without getting into the bump out. So they can make the turn, but they cannot make it in a fast way. So like the maximum speed we're assuming is like 10 miles per hour to make that turn. So anything above that, it would create a problem for a pedestrian crossing on that crosswalk.
I really do hear you, and I'm not trying to argue. I'm just trying to give you some facts as a driver and someone who has experienced an intersection where you have this exact scenario, and it is not safer for drivers. While people do slow down, there are some people who are not expecting the turn to be as narrow, and a lot of cars get sideswiped. It is very dangerous, and it does not make traffic more efficient. So I would ask that you reconsider that. It's not a better scenario. And I do understand, like, when you're coming to the intersection going up 7th Street, but as you pass that and you're making that turn west from Q Street up to 7th Street Northwest, that creates a very dangerous situation, especially if you have bigger trucks, or if there is another car just sitting in the lane on the opposite side going in the opposite direction. That is not considering all people who use this road. And I think that is a mistake for the Department of Transportation to not consider all of the people who are moving on that street.
Okay, everyone, we're gonna have to kind of move this forward now.
Mhm.
So do any of the commissioners have any other comments before we open it up to the public?
I have one
I
quick
have-
question.
Okay, go ahead,
Sir,
Howard.
go ahead. Looking at the chart here, it appears as if where the unloading used to be, I'm assuming this is right in front of on Q and 7th and Bar where the unloading happens. It looks like that is being taken away with this new this temporary fix. What is expected for them to unload at, so it doesn't hinder any more traffic issues at this intersection, whether it's stoppage because they're trying to unload, traffic issues, where they expect it to go?
If I believe there's actually an alley behind Ambar. Alex, do you know? Sorry, I know that was a question for.
Alley there, and the alleys are part of the problem that are being blocked by delivery trucks. So, but Howard, the proposal for the loading zone would be to occupy the about to be vacated bus stop on the southwest corner of 7th Q.
Right, yeah, but that's in June. Is this supposed to go with that in June as well? This temporary fix?
This will come in spring, so the coming spring.
And then the bus stop project will commence in June.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
any
I have
comments? Go ahead, Nicole.
one comment, and it doesn't require a response, but I would just maybe wonder why we would be putting up 2 new no turn on red signs when that's not being enforced. It's my understanding that people are not getting pulled over and ticketed for turning on red, so we don't have to answer it here. It's just a thought that I have that I wanted to share.
Okay, anyone from the public that would like to make comments about this, press *9 or raise your virtual hand.
We did have a comment submitted by Lauren Anderson, and they said, as a pedestrian, this intersection features many drivers taking this turn too fast or just cutting it too tight. I've almost been hit a number of times, and the prioritization has to be on reducing those injuries.
Okay, great, thank you. Anyone else? I don't think so, right? No. Okay, Commissioners Padro and Commissioner Shea, how do you want this to go?
Commissioner Shea and I had a conversation about this, but go ahead, Commissioner Shea.
Oh, I just was actually going to ask how, when we're putting motions forward, how we do it, since it's my first time, but please go ahead, Alex.
Sure. So what we discussed was a couple of different things there. Obviously, everyone wants to see an improvement in the safety for pedestrians as well as bicyclists at this intersection. But still, as was revealed by the response to the question about the level of the study that was conducted in this instance, I think that this is a Band-Aid. It's not as comprehensive a solution, or not as thorough a reduction in all the possible hazards that are currently in place. So based on the recommendation of the committee, I believe that the right action is to, number one, ask DDOT to conduct a more comprehensive traffic safety study at this intersection, seeking to maximize safety for all users, including pedestrians, bicyclists, and drivers. and also incorporating the addition of a loading zone to help to prevent the parking in alleys and double parking that's taking place by delivery trucks at this intersection, utilizing the about to be sunsetted bus stop at the southwest corner of 7th and Q Streets. So, Commissioner Shea, if you're in agreement, I'm happy to make the motion.
Based on the information that I've seen in the presentation today and my review of the proposal yesterday and when I went to the intersection, I think further traffic study is good and required, but it sounds to me like that would be happening with other projects. And as a quick fix, I actually think that this does sound like it will address existing safety concerns. So I am inclined to put forward a motion to approve it as it is.
So how about having our cake and eating it too?
I like that.
So if we can say that we support the quick fix, but that we urge DDOT to conduct a more comprehensive traffic safety analysis of this intersection with the objective of creating additional protections for pedestrians, bicyclists, and drivers here, and incorporating a loading zone for commercial deliveries utilizing the current bus stop at the southwest corner of 7th and Q Streets. Does that work for you?
That does work for me. Just
All right.
if anyone else wants to weigh in.
I would like to weigh in. As the chair of the Transportation and Public Space Committee, last night we voted and we did not support the implementation of the quick build. And I support what the Transportation and Public Space Committee voted on and agreed to. I sent that letter to all of the commissioners and to every member of the Transportation and Public Space Committee, all of those members as well. DDOT does not have a good record of correcting issues. And so with that said, I would not be comfortable putting in a quick fix because that is more likely to become more permanent.
Okay, thank you all for that. And so I don't know who wants to make the motion. Do you want to reinstate that, Alex? And then we will vote.
I can, but I'm trying to be respectful of the Transportation Committee Chair's concern here, and I'm trying to think of how we make this work for everyone here. Since Commissioner Shea, supports implementation of the quick fix now. We do have a comment from former Commissioner Watkins saying that these quick fixes ending up being permanent, and that is the concern that DDOT will do this quick fix, which as I described as a band-aid, and then will go away and never conduct the more intensive transportation study or do any of the other changes that we're looking at. So okay,
Howard, you had a question. I'm sorry, Howard has another comment here. Howard, go ahead. I'm sorry.
2 questions. I am in agreement with Commissioner Padros and Commissioner Shea's motion. I do have 2 questions for DDOT. If we proceed with the motion to proceed with the quick fix along with the study, when can we get results from that study? How long would that take? As well as, since this is a quick fix, when can we expect the permanent plan to be presented, or has it already been presented? If it has, when will that be commenced?
So if I understand your question correctly, you're asking first, when would you expect to have a larger study if you approve the quick fix with the request for a larger study? And then the second part is, when would this become permanent, or when would it be installed?
Correct. Has a permanent plan been presented or drafted? No, when can we expect that? If it has, when are we expecting that to be implemented or construction to begin?
Okay, well, construction, as George mentioned, for the quick build will be in the spring, or projected to be in the spring. Now, no permanent structure like our tactical to permanent program has been proposed or is scheduled at this time. And then for a larger study, that would have to be appropriate. That have to have funds. So that would, not be in this fiscal year. Is my understanding is that then we'd have to have funding for it for then us to study it further. So that's something that can be advocated for in the budget season that's coming up right now.
So the permanent fix hasn't been planned or budgeted, so we will not see any type of action until it's presented and budgeted, if it is ever budgeted, correct?
That is correct. Now, other greater intersection improvements can be as a result of larger study, as they discussed for the Q&R, protected bike lanes. A larger project like that would study intersections, high crash intersections like this, and then could present some, larger permanent designs.
Is one crash considered a high crash area?
No, we have our Vision Zero dashboard, which has our high crash intersections, and record of all the crashes across DC. So we rank it that way. Now I don't know, but George did go over the crash data for this intersection, and it is significant.
Hey, everyone. What are we doing here? Alex?
Go ahead and make it. Let's see how who salutes it. So I'll move that ANC 2G support implementation of NOI, and I don't have the number in front of me. Christoph, what's the number?
It is. Go ahead.
24-494.
24 NOI 24-494.
Oh, 294, isn't it? 29?
No, it's 24-494.
294 is correct.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, was it 294 or 494?
It's 294.
NOI 24-294 with the stipulations that the bus stop at the southwest corner of 7th and Q Streets Northwest be converted into a commercial loading zone, and that a more comprehensive traffic study be implemented for the intersection of 7th and Q Streets Northwest with the objective of maximizing pedestrian, bicyclist, and driver safety, and that we submit this recommendation to the Director of the Department of Transportation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Steven seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So, Howard, Sheena, any abstentions or no's?
I'm saying no.
Okay, Sheena's a no. Howard?
Yeah, I was raising my hand in the little yellow hand, but yes.
Oh, that's your case. So we have 5-1-0. Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Great. Thanks, Christoph, for
Thank
coming
you all.
twice. And George. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, all.
Okay, and now we have my favorite topic. Let's see who's going to zoom in. Okay, we're talking about the Central Cell Block construction, aka the nickname has now changed to just the jail at 501 New York Avenue. So as everyone knows that we did not win our BZA case, and the Department of General Services did receive the special exception to build the Central Cell Block. So they're coming before us tonight to talk about the construction schedule. And you know how much I love talking about this. So this, I took about a 30-day break, but now we can talk about it again. We all needed a break. All right, so Alam, my buddy Alam, and I think who's on here with Anjay? Oh, John Stokes is here? That must be John Stokes. Hi, everyone. Good to see you guys. There's John. Well, are y'all tired yet? I am not. And is Meredith not joining you tonight? Are you free to speak freely? Brother, that was the wrong question to ask, right? All right, gentlemen. So we'll ask some questions after, but as you know, the construction, schedule you're here to present to us. And so who wants to be, or do you want to give a little tee up, or how do you want to do this?
No, I'll start. Unless
Okay.
John, you wanna, but I'm ready to start.
No, just good evening, everyone, and thank you. I'm John Stokes with the Department of General Services. Congratulations to all those who were reelected and the new folks on board, and we're happy to be here.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year to all. And again, congratulations to the new and elected commissioners and officers. Joining also here, my name is Alam Al-Alami. I'm the Operation Manager for the Capital Construction Division at the Department of General Services. Again, everybody knows John Stokes. He's the Associate Director for External Affairs. Also with us here is Ajay Hargrove. He's the Executive Program Manager for the Public Safety and Justice projects within the district at the Capital Construction Division. Not with us today, but he's a major team player, Mr. Des Green. He's the project manager that's assigned by DGS to manage the delivery of this project, kind of the day-to-day activities happening. So what we have here is we are still actually finalizing the schedule. However, in a general terms, this project always had a duration of 14 months. So from a 10,000 feet, we are looking at the spring next year, spring 2026 to be completed. The reason we don't have a tight schedule yet is again, as many of you aware, as we went through, the BZA process and post-BZA decision, there are new items that kind of being added to the project, and that those items will require, further submissions to certain departments like Department of Building and DDOT, and we're engaging the EE firm to kind of update the contract drawings and obtain the new or any revised permits needed, again, resulting from the BZA as a result to the added scope. We are also engaging with the general contractor Keystone. They will be remobilizing at the job site, and that will be over the next 2-3 weeks. They'll be remobilizing at the job site. And then also we task them to provide a revised project delivery schedule. The project delivery schedule will reflect, again, the new changes, the new scope that added, plus the new time to kind of get the permitting done. This probably will take about 4 to 5 weeks to get completed. But again, what we're here to share tonight is again from a 10,000 feet view of this project. Again, we're looking to complete this project in the spring of 2026. And that's what we're here to present, and we're happy to take any questions.
Okay, so
John or Ajay, if you have additional information you'd like to.
Nope, that's fine.
well, I have to say, I don't want to say I'm disappointed because we all don't want it there in the first place, but this wasn't much of an update besides the construction people showing back up.
Well, I mean, I think it is. I mean, Commissioner Nagra, I think it is an update. Again, it is a 14-month schedule. So again, we did stop since March last year. So again, the clock is restarting. We have a new requirement that kind of were added to the project, especially on the exterior. we still have to go to the agencies, and kind of complete, those reviews and obtain and amend the permits that we have.
So, but that's not, okay, so let me get very specific, I'm gonna get very specific with you, because I need these answers. So when are you going to DDOT? When is that meeting taking place? Because see, this is all like we're coming, but if you don't have the DDOT approval, and what we're talking about for the people in the audience and for the commissioners is that, and I'm just gonna be honest, I'm gonna tell how it is, that the Department of General Services does not think they have to follow the DDOT regulations for the intersections and for the parking, but there it is, I've said it, I don't have a problem saying it, but when are you going to go to them?
I don't have
this
a
is all going to be
specific date.
drawn out.
Exactly. I don't have a specific date to provide today.
Okay. So then you mentioned the Department of Buildings. So you're going to them for what specifically? Because you have the active permit.
Yes. So if you remember that the active permit was before the BZA ruling, and the BZA had us to come back and go, in front for an exceptional use. So we can actually proceed based on the old permit that was renewed. We can proceed on the activities that had to do with the original building, but that permit would not allow us to proceed on the activities that kind of were granted under the special use. So we need to go back to the Department of Buildings, engaging them to get an updated permit.
So you're saying the active permit that you have right now does not cover the work that you're going to be doing?
Of course,
What are you
as a
saying?
result, again,
Can I jump in?
please do.
So the current permit is inclusive of everything, but we are not allowed to move forward with the special exception portion until we get the written order. So we've been coordinating with DOB to make sure that we do not go beyond what is going to be part of the written order.
Okay, so here's the deal. So this is my understanding. So you're waiting for the written order from the Board of Zoning Adjustment.
Correct.
Okay, so that could take a very long time. We have actually not received the order from our first go around with the BZA. If you all, I mean, I don't know if y'all care, just irrelevant at this point. So this could be months from now.
Yes, and we've had conversations with BZA on how they.
Oh, you have?
Yes, we have.
But what, I didn't think that was allowed to talk with, so you talk with their lawyers or so, 'cause I was told that we have to wait and wait and wait and wait.
We are coordinating with BZA. We have requested that they prioritize the order. And
wait, how can you do that, but the rest of the world can't?
We talk to the lawyers just like you talk to the lawyers.
I was told, let me tell you what I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I was told that, oh, no, all these orders, whether they're for us or other cases, you just have to wait because they have this huge backlog. So you're saying that because you guys are that you're going to get some special treatment from the Board of Zoning Adjustment. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, you're hearing that we made a request.
Well, I've made a request and nothing happened with my request for the first one.
So
I think Commissioner Negro, I think sorry, I think it's our duties to try to execute the project as soon as practical as possible. So again, the team is exploring, talking to the Department of Building, again through their relationship, through their contact with the BZA and others. Again, our goal is to secure all the right permit post the BZA ruling and execute the project accordingly.
This sounds sketchy, but I will deal with that on the other side because this, I was told, nope, can't do that. And now you guys are doing it. So sounds like special favors. So, and then, so you don't know when the Department of Transportation meeting is. What about you have to go before HPRB?
That'll be part of the fencing design. Once the fence design is completed, we'll go before HPRB.
So you don't have a time frame for that?
That is under design right now.
Okay, so I have put a request in that you come before us before your HPRB situation.
Understood. We plan to present information to you before we go with HPRB and DDOT.
So, but what if with all this stuff, we got the HPRB, we've got the DDOT, so what will actually begin there, like say 2 weeks from now? What will happen? What are we gonna see? What are we seeing? If you're saying they're gonna come to the site 2 weeks from now, right? What are my constituents and the business gonna see happen? What is happening there?
I'm not sure where you got the 2 weeks from.
You said that.
No,
You said they're coming back. You said
they're
the
going to come
Keystone's
back.
coming back.
I didn't give you a timeline as to when they'll be coming back, but they are coming back.
So no, we don't know when we don't know when someone's gonna reappear at this site.
As of right now, we are in discussions with Keystone to finalize when they'll be remobilizing.
Okay, so let me just make some bullet points and then we're gonna open for questions. Because I want to drag this down the rabbit hole because you know I can do that with this, is suck my life away. We don't have a date for when the construction team is gonna come back because you have to wait for the BZA order, which you seem to have doing some from the backside to get that expedited, right? And then we have to wait for DDOT and for HPRB. So with all these, can you begin without the DDOT or the HPRB?
Yes, because we do have a building permit that allows us to continue with the abatement and the demolition.
But you have to wait for the order.
We have to wait for the order for the special exception, which was the expansion of the cells.
So what will be the first thing happening there? That's what I'm trying to get, if anything.
Some demolition activities.
Demolition activities.
Okay, so my constituents and the businesses can see demolition act from the interior.
Correct.
You could start anytime tomorrow or whenever.
We will notify you before they start those activities.
Okay. All right.
And it's not going to start tomorrow. It's not going to start before 2-3 weeks. So, and we will inform the community commissioner.
Okay, very good. And I will not allow, and you know how this rule goes, any after-hour work.
Yeah, that's
Got it.
understood. That's how the permit is, correct.
Well, you can ask for that, but we'll deny that. Okay, I don't want to. So 2 to 3 weeks, something might happen here. Just some demolition. That's the bottom line.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Commissioners, any questions about the jail and the construction schedule, or kind of vague construction schedule? Anything? No. All right. So who is my main contact? Is it going to be John, or who am I talking to when this all begins?
Once everything kicks off, you'll probably be in touch with our project manager, Des Green. And I can forward you his information.
Okay, so here's the deal. Here's how I roll in 2G06. So I will need his cell phone number and how I can reach him, because unfortunately, I don't trust anyone in this whole project, right? And if it's anything like the usual projects in the 2G06, it'll be a disaster. So on behalf of my constituents and the businesses, I will be watching this. And you need to understand that this project is going to be watched from literally overhead from both sides of the street. So if something is amiss, I will need to contact someone right away. And will I have a contact with the Keystone company or no?
No, I would prefer you can communicate with Des Green.
Can I have a contact for the person on site? Is that possible? That's usually how I do, because then
I would like you to communicate with Des Green.
Okay, make sure I get all his vitals.
And Aji and I, if you don't have our contact, we could be, if you cannot get Des, you could reach Aji and myself. And you know John already, so you could anytime reach John.
But as John is aware how I do, if something is amiss at 7 a.m. or 7:30, someone's going to get a phone call.
That's fine.
Don't do that. John used my phone call. So, okay. Anything else from the commissioners? If not, we're going to open to the public. And I know I have 655 on. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand or press *9. I think we have some hands up. Commissioner McCarty. Okay. Sasan, yay, 655.
Hi, good evening. How are you guys?
Good
evening.
Thank you guys for having us. So we are the managers for the property that's right beside the current facility. And we have a daycare that is directly across from you guys. So we're trying to understand what the impact is going to be in terms of like the construction and then also long-term impact in terms of going into the facility, getting out of the facility. Like, are kids going to see any activity? Like, is there any information that you guys can provide us? Because we've been out of the loop a little bit, and we're just trying to make sure that we are relaying everything that we can to our retail tenants and our office tenants.
I think, good evening, Mr. Taib. So I think there's been a lot of conversation, about this topic, during the BZA, so again, as we go, through with the process with DDOT, a lot of these kind of being covered. So again, I'm not going to summarize all of what happened at the BZA, but again, if you're familiar with the early presentation, and I do probably remember your name, maybe you were at some of the early presentations that we kind of had to the community. But again, as as the residents kind of being transported, there is a Sally port. So aside from the Sally port, there are like 4 or 5 spots designated for queuing, that they are inside the fence. One of the comments that came out of the BZA was to kind of help with additional screening, is to actually extend a fence, outside the facility to kind of provide for that separation. So again, the vehicles will be, inside the facilities, and also, the actual, discharge, not discharge, I'm sorry, the actual, inmates when they arrive there, all of that, getting, out of the vans or loading back into the vans, that's all going to happen, within an enclosed Sally port. So again, that would be, fully, cut off from the street view.
Okay. So ultimately, like, we will not be able to see anything from like the outside.
You should not be able to see, yes.
So Sasana, are you talking about the construction or when they're actually detainees there?
No, when they're actually detainees there.
Well, you'll probably see them being released, so there's that part, but we don't want to go down that rabbit hole, right, you guys? So you'll see. So let me clarify for Alam. You will see them in that small parking lot waiting to go into that Sally port. That Sally port only holds 1 car. There will be other cars with detainees in that small parking lot. Visible.
Yes, they will be in vans, and again, there is a new fence that will be going.
Yeah. We're gonna see it all. It's gonna be a show. So
Is the fence, so are you guys intending to install the fence on the L Street side or on the New York Ave side?
It would enclose the entire parking area and as well as the Sally Port. So we'll wrap around L and all the
L
side to New York Avenue.
We can reshare some of the preliminary, drawings that were presented at the BZA, if that helps.
Yes, that would be helpful.
Or actually, it's probably available online, but we can
do you have the fence handy?
I don't. I'm from home.
Okay.
So
Sauceman, I'll send you all the stuff. I have all the stuff.
Okay. And then in terms of construction, I know you guys said potentially remobilizing in the next 2 weeks. How is that going to be impactful to traffic? Since I assume everything's during the day.
Everything will be during the day, and the contractor, we're working with the contractor to ensure that all of his layout and all of his parking is done on site. There may be some time that they need to receive deliveries on L Street, but that's something we can coordinate.
So this reminds me, because right now we have residents parking on L Street. You have not done any official staging area besides the small parking lot. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Will that be coming?
That will be coming when they remobilize.
So we need to have a dialogue about that, because we have an active notice out to change residential parking. Okay. All right, Sasan will be in contact. Any other questions before I let the next person speak?
No, that's it for now. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next here? Commissioner McCarty. Hi, Ms.
Former
Watkins.
Commissioner Watkins.
Hi. My question is, when is the exact move-in date with all of these permits and stuff that's not done and who you got to go talk to and get permission for, even though you're going to get started anyway? When will we see the first move-in into the facility?
Again, as I stated, Ms. Sandra, we're looking at the spring of 2026. I don't have a specific date. You know, if we can, for this conversation, we can say it is, end of May. But again, we want to provide, a better dates on the schedule. So again, we need to go through this process, to get the permits, update the permits, incorporate that into the schedule so we can provide a more accurate information, to the community. And also for us so that we can track the contractor and hold them to, contractual dates.
So as a contractor, you did not provide the district government with a specific date when you was anticipating the first move-in. Is
No.
that what you're saying?
No, we did. So in the original contract, they did have 14 months. There was a specific date. I don't recall it now, but there's a specific date, what we call substantial completion. That's a contractual date in their contract. However, since March of 2024, and because of going through, the BZA process, so we kind of gave them a stop work order. So again, now we kind of lifting the stop work order. Now we have new requirements added to the project. So again, we are evaluating what's the added scope will do to the schedule, and we should be able to again, project an accurate dates for the community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ms. Watkins. All right, I think we did have, so anyone else? Anyone else have any questions concerning the construction of the jail at 501 New York Avenue? Raise your hand.
We had a couple of chats that I want to read into the record.
Okay.
One is from Sarah. Sarah says, am I correct in understanding that there is no set date of when construction will begin and end, only that construction will last about 14 months?
I think I believe we did cover that, Commissioner. So again, in 2-3 weeks, they should be back on site, remobilizing. And again, the end date, we're working towards it. I guess for conversation for this meeting, we can define spring 2026 as May 31st, 2026 as a completion date.
Thank you. This one might be more for you, Commissioner Nigro, but Kiana Moore asked, I'm sorry I'm new here. Is the jail a done deal? Is this commission in support of the jail, and were other parts of the city considered?
So this person needs to contact me. It is done for now. As I said, we did lose. We fought a valiant valor for almost 2 years. But please contact me offline. Because I'd be happy to tell you the entire story. I can reach at 202-236-3329, or you can email me at 2g06@anc.dc.gov, and I can tee up anyone who has questions about the 601 days. I'll be happy to fill you in.
Commissioner, if I may add, so again, this is for the constituent who asked the question. Again, this is a temporary use, and the Board of Zoning order put a limit on it of 8 years. That would allow us to build the permanent CCB at Daly. And Commissioner Nigro, I really like with the beginning of the new year, let's really collaboratively find a way, that we kind of turn the page and work together to kind of deliver the project and address the need. And I believe, again, with the community, kind of took the stand that they did, again, that kind of resulted in actually a funding taken place for the permanent solution. So I think, that's something, sorry, you want to say something?
Well, all I want to say is that you could after 8 years, you could reapply. So there is nothing definitive, and the whole thing is, so I don't believe most people at this point, because you just know that you can reapply after 8 years. Right? In case that other part doesn't work out. Right? Am I correct?
Well, again, the funding for the
Yeah, I know,
permanent
but
is,
you can reapply after 8 years, right?
I don't know.
No, you
I really
can't.
don't know. I
You
don't know.
can.
But again, the funding for the permanent is provided in fiscal year 26. So in less than a year, we'll be working on developing an AE for the permanent, and again, starting that project. So,
Okay.
while this project will still be, active.
All right. So, and I think Belinda had she's from 6552. Belinda, did she take her hand down?
Belinda took her hand.
Oh, there
Okay,
she
here we
goes.
go.
Hey, Belinda.
Hey, hi everyone.
Hello.
So I had a question, just kind of piggybacking off of what Sosin said because of the daycare, and just trying to understand. I've been trying to listen. That's why I've lowered my hand. I've raised it just because I'm trying to listen to what everything is being said. But what we really need to understand is the impact during the construction period that is going to be in play for the daycare. So like traffic, what area they're going to be working like within, what is the noise level? Like I know what the DC noise decibel level is for day and night, but will there be jackhammers? Like is this going to be loud work? And if it is it going to be in phases that we'll be able to know about ahead of time, just so that we can prepare our tenants and prepare the building so that people know with our building, certain sounds can echo in and certain, things like that. So just kind of understanding what's happening maybe in phases, as far as like the noise and the impact that it's going to have on the building, especially the daycare, with the kids.
Again, we will be happy to kind of talk, directly with the daycare, as it seemed like, you have specific concern. The original scope of this project was all internal work. So again, as a result of the BZA, which kind of, I believe, probably improved the appearance of the building from the outside, kind of added a fence. But again, the immediate work for the next probably 6-8 months, looking at the schedule, and all of it will be, interior work. There's some demo activities. They could have some noise, but that noise will not be more than the traffic noise that's happening, on the street. I think as Ajay mentioned earlier, during construction, you do need to schedule some large deliveries, of materials on some days. And again, Mr. Desgreen, our project manager, will make sure that we coordinate through the ANC or directly with the daycare, to kind of give you advance notice 48 hours of when such deliveries will be coming.
Okay, so no concrete work out like on where the concrete is, like to the parking lot. No additional work that would like require jackhammers and things like that is going to be done. Everything is internal.
Well, again, that was original scope. Now, again, part of the
Okay.
BZA is we will be constructing a fence where the Jersey barrier is there today. So the Jersey barriers will be removed. We're gonna be, narrowing, the entranceway, to the site, and we also will be working, on the pedestrian side. Ajay, is it on along 6th Avenue?
It's on both. It's on L and it's on New York that we have to reduce the opening of the driveway.
The exterior work other than the fence is very minimal. I mean, there is no major, like there's no excavation, there's no piles like you see on other projects in the district. The structure will remain as is of the building.
Okay.
And everything is interior.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Really quick.
I'm sorry. Can I get I guess the daycare people's point of contact? Can you guys send that to us, Ms. Nigro?
So Belinda, do you want, I have some, I don't know if has the manager changed lately?
They've had some changes. I think
Yeah.
from our end, we'd like to probably make contact with them and maybe ask them, kind of start the introduction. So we can do that. We can send an email and start that introduction.
Commissioner
I'll
Knight,
go.
I'm sure they're
more
interested.
information?
So yeah, I can put you all in the loop, and I'll tell you who I have. We'll talk offline.
Oh,
If there
sounds
isn't.
Great.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Okay, and to address, there's a comment from Robert Goldberg. How can you have arrested that there are registered sex offenders within a close distance to a preschool? Is that legal? Well, everyone and their mother is going to be there. The murderer, we don't have the Department of Corrections here tonight, but everyone is going to end up here who doesn't end up going someplace else. But they're going to go from the district houses right to here. And it'll all include not only MPD, it'll be National Park Service, it'll be the Secret Service, it'll be the Capitol Police, and Metro. So more
Again,
than just MPD.
If DOC were here, they would say these are arrestees and these are not convicted.
Yes. Okay, and then there's a question about parking. Okay, they said we have had multiple conversations on the subject with the predicted number of detainees up to 92 per cell. Yep, there will be a continuous stream of police cars dropping and picking them up. We have not seen any plans or expansions. So here's what we're talking about with DDOT. They have to have their meeting with DDOT because, and I know that General Services is not correct, that they're talking about the parking spaces and they're saying one thing and the DDOT regulations is another. Am I correct, gentlemen?
I'm
Am I
not
accurate in
following.
that description? So he's talking about the police cars parking around it. We have vans. I don't remember the part of the conversation where they're surrounding the building, and we showed that you can't have all those cars there because of the amount of space you have to have away from the intersections. Do you remember that?
I think I remember, and I remember also that the Department of Corrections said that they will coordinate, the trips to the site where they make sure that there's only the queuing cars are queuing in the 5 spots, the 4 plus the sally port, and that the queuing could be delayed or they could stay at the individual precinct before they come in. Again, this is more of a DOC really rather than a DGS.
I'll just say that to end it, that there is no real plan and that they are underestimating the amount of vehicles coming and that they are wrong in their DDOT plan. That is absolutely correct. Okay, so any other questions before we wrap this up? Ms. Watkins has her hand up again. Ms. Watkins?
One more question. And I guess this is to Commissioner Barry. Will some of this parking and transportation be addressed the closer they get at the Transportation and Public Safety Committee meetings?
Well, like Commissioner Nigro said, they would have to go to DDOT first. And then possibly when they got that work order, they would present it to us with a notice of intent. And then we would get to vote on it with at the committee. But, I can tell you from experience that, the committee can only make a recommendation. It doesn't actually, mean that all commissioners or that DDOT will accept the recommendation. And from being a former commissioner that when DC has a plan, they carry it out. They have a city plan. If they have a plan for one of their departments, they make sure that they follow it through, even if they have a lot of community engagement. But we can always be hopeful.
And so I'll just say to end that is that the Department of General Services has one idea, which is completely, utterly incorrect versus what is required by DDOT. And so it'll be interesting to see whether DDOT stands with their regulations. This is how critical. If they do not stand with their regulations, should be absolutely free for all for everyone else. And that's what we need to watch because we were very specific in our BZA case and no one seemed to, they seemed to listen to the transportation expert that the government paid for versus the DDOT regulations. Should be.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Ms. Watkins. Good question. Good question. All right, we're gonna end this so we can have some information. Anyone else before we wrap this up? No? Okay. So as you know, I'm in communication with my constituents and we will be in communication constantly with this. We are watching you, and frankly, I trust no one in this process. So there it is.
All right, thank you for having us.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Happy
All
New Year.
right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Commissioner.
Take
Have a good
care. Good to see you, John. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay. Now we have our next voting thing. We have across the street from the jail. Woo! They're not too happy with the decision. This is Boston Properties. This is 1001 6th Street Northwest. This is a very simple thing. The request for the extension of their board of zoning adjustment order from 2 years ago because they haven't started construction yet. So I don't know if Sean Sullivan is on. I think Dave. There's Sean. Okay, Dave and Sean. I'm Sean. I'm sorry I didn't answer a question with General Services.
I actually I did want to say a few things, but I let you say it.
You what?
I let you say it. I did have I'm going to say one thing. This is very simple. They should have a traffic control plan that shows traffic movements, where the construction fencing is going up, what lanes they're taking, what parking spaces they're taking, how traffic is going to move around the site. It's a very simple, fundamental thing. And I think it would answer a lot of the questions that the neighbors have. And it's a pro forma exercise that everyone has to do. So,
Well, that's good. Well, I'm going to consult you, Sean, because I have no confidence because they don't have much project management. So not like the big dogs like you guys do.
It's basic and it's required, and it would help their cause. But I'll leave it at that.
You're gonna consult me later, Sean. Okay. All right, gentlemen. Do you want to? So this is a property that is in 6E. It is across from 2G, and I said we're just kind of, given this, if the commissioners want to give them support to continue their BZA, or if you want to flash up the project. This is the very large parking lot across New York Avenue, across from the jail.
Dave, do you have it handy?
I do.
Okay, thanks.
And so it's been sadly that Boston Properties did participate with us in our objection to the jail because it is going to greatly impact this project.
All right. So Sean, do you want me to walk through the prior approval briefly, and then?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So just to remind folks, 2 years ago we went before the Board of Zoning Adjustment, actually a little over 2 years ago, for approval needed to construct this building, which is a 500-unit apartment building above ground floor retail. To give you a sense of the location, here it is, right across the street from the property we were just talking about. It's that big surface parking lot right next to the Safeway. Here's another image of the location of the building. I'm going to flip through very quickly here. And this shows we went to the Board of Zoning Adjustment for one area of relief, which was to allow us to set back the ground floor of the building a little bit more than the regulations allow, to allow for us a more generous pedestrian entrance for the residential lobby. That's where the residential lobby will be. That was the only reason we went. It's been 2 years. Normally under the Board of Zoning Adjustment rules, if you get approval, you're supposed to file a building permit with 2 years. And since we got the approval, we've been trying to move forward, but like just about every other real estate project in the city, we faced incredibly difficult headwinds trying to secure financing in order to move the project forward. And so we've been waiting until the market conditions approve. And so what we're asking for is 2 more years as those conditions approve, so we can move the project forward. That's what the request is. So sort of to go back to what the building is, here's the ground floor of the building, and you can see here it's 2 towers rising up, one along 5th Street, one along 6th Street. The reason why there's a step down in height here is this is a requirement of the very, very specific zoning that applies to Mount Vernon Triangle, but it allows for a lot of retail at the ground level, helping to sort of fill out and animate this space. And then just to walk through pretty conventional floor plans going up the building. And I'll just get to a couple of, this is the ground floor lobby that was the subject of the relief. And I'm just going to see if I can get to 1 or 2 of the pictures, just to give a sense of, so this is the building that was approved. So that's what we're here for, is to request, just more time to be able to move this project forward. Sean, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, all I would add is, since we got the BZA relief, we've spent in excess of $3 million in designing the buildings. We are effectively like permit ready. By that I mean we could submit for permit. We are actively reaching out to capital markets partners, debt financing partners. But the market isn't quite there yet. We have a lot of faith and belief in the site, in the neighborhood, are very excited about what we've designed, and what it can bring to the community. But again, we're somewhat at the mercy of the macro forces out there today. In terms of timing, I think this had come up in a prior conversation. I am hopeful that this year interest rates will head in our favor. And I do think that we'll have some more meaningful conversations with financial partners to get this thing off the ground. But the 2-year relief will give us that time to get our ducks in a row.
Yeah, and I think I'll just add to that. It's a sort of a standard request of when you come in for a time extension the first time, to ask for an additional 2 years. Just so there's nothing unusual about that amount of time. It's just sort of the standard ask. I think we can stop there. I can bring down the presentation if the commission would like.
Yes, please. That'd be great.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so when we were 6E, we supported this project. So I don't know if any of the commissioners, and we had our little meeting the other day about this, and the committee supported the product. So anyone have any questions about this? And they're going to go to 6E. Since they're whenever, right? You have whenever.
That's right. We just connected with Commissioner Hans last night, I think, and so we'll be going to them next week for their executive meeting, and then again 2 weeks from now.
Great. All right, Commissioner Barry.
Hi, thank you for being here and presenting. The building looks great. I was just wondering when you were expected to start on construction, and if that would coincide with what's happening across the street from you at the jail. Yeah, those are my questions.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll just use some hypotheticals just to sort of help answer your question. So let's say that if we were ready by the middle of this year to submit for permit, so we haven't submitted for permit yet. That process itself, let's say, so if we submitted in July, that process itself would probably take 6 to 8 months, probably closer to 8 months. So we'd be looking like into early 2026 when we would be starting. I can't foresee us submitting for permit in July, but to give you a sense, I think that it's unlikely that we would overlap if they hit their date of May 2026 that they just said. Might be a minor overlap, but I hope that we are starting construction, but I sitting here right now today, I would bet that it's probably later in 2026.
All right. Any
When
other questions?
would the project be completed? I mean, timeframe, not necessarily a date like, July of 2026, but what's your time
Yeah,
frame?
good question. It's probably around 30 months.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone from the community have questions about this? I think some people from 60 saw my social media, but I don't know if anyone's on, has any questions about this. Raise your hand, press star 9. Nope. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do a motion then. I move that ANC 2G support the request for the time extension for the Board of Zoning Adjustment for 1001 6th Street Northwest.
Seconded.
Okay. Alex seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
we'll be in touch, Sean.
Okay, talk
We're
soon.
not standing down.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you. All right, now we have, this is in Commissioner Shea's area, 1703 6th Street, the Hot Box DC LLC, their request for the medical cannabis retail license. I don't know who we have on for that.
I don't believe that the owner is on.
Okay.
Yep.
So I know that you and Alex conversed about this. So how do you want to proceed?
I would like to proceed with being designated as the lead for the ANC for communicating with ABCA on this. And I've been in touch with the owner, and he has agreed to the request that he's agreed that we make a request to ABCA for an extension of the deadline to file a notice of what the petition to protest. It's currently February 3rd. We have both agreed to request extending that to February 28th. And we have discussed entering into a settlement agreement, and we're just at the very beginning parts of that conversation.
So I saw the email. So did ABCA agree to the extension or no?
I think they didn't disagree. They said they needed somebody designated as the lead. But in my communications with them, they indicated that before that, they indicated that it would be fine provided the owner and the ANC were in agreement on it.
Okay. All right, so we don't have to protest. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'd like to move it then, bringing it up as a matter to next month's meeting, but have a motion to designate me as the lead and a motion do we need a motion to move it to next month?
No, we'll just put it on there next month.
Okay.
Table it. Alex, did you want to say anything or Stephen?
So well, we should go ahead and have a motion to table. So we formally, made that action. But also, in addition to simply designating Commissioner Shea as the representative of the commission for this matter, we should also formally request that the petition date be moved to extended to February the 28th. So that it is an action of the commission rather than just the commissioner's request.
Okay, great. Sounds good. So who wants to go ahead and make a motion? Nicole, Alex, you want to do the whole thing?
I can if Nicole wants me to.
If you wouldn't mind, that would be great.
Sure. I move that ANC 2G designate Commissioner Nicole Shea as the commission's representative in the matter of ABRA application 128305 Hotbox DC LLC at 1703 6th Street Northwest, second floor. and that we request that the petition date for the application for the commission's response to the I'm sorry, that the commission's protest petition deadline be extended to February 28th, 2025, and that we report that, send that request to the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Administration.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second? Okay, Stephen McCarty seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Great.
And then the motion to table.
Oh,
Yeah, so just move that ANC 2G table the hot box DC application until our February 13th meeting.
okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Or
Okay,
Nicole
Stephen.
got me.
Okay,
You can give it
Nicole
to Nicole.
seconds. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Great. Okay, super. That is super. So I'm glad that worked out, at least for now. Okay, next we have, we're going to talk about the jail a little bit. So for the new commissioners, we receive funds for paying for our legal services concerning the BZA case against the Central Cell Block from the Expert Assistance Fund with the Office of ANC. We have some remaining bills that I had to get clarified with our lawyer, and so it was a delay. So delay because now here we have the meeting. So we have, I'm going to tell them, we're going to flash them to you so you see them, and then we're going to do separate motions. So that's how the office wants it. So we're gonna do separate motions we're gonna do 4 separate motions, okay? So bear with me. Is everyone gonna bear with me? Yes. Okay. So this is the last bill that we received. This is for $720. So, okay, so I move that ANC 2G apply for the experts assistance fund grant for $720 for Donahue Themac Miller PLC. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Alex seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Barry? Yes. Okay, so motion passes 6-0-0. Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna do a second one here. Let's see here. Hold on. Oof. Can't see that stupid thing. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so hold on. This is no, not that one. Oh, hold on. Oh dear. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm missing one of the bills. 1, 2. What's this? Wait, I can't see it. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on, I'm gonna stop my share. Wait, can I see this? What is this? Okay, yes, I do. I got it all. Okay, so we had a significantly large bill that was for over $12,000. So that had to be split up. So each amount had to be $5,000 or less. So, and we had already had motion for this at a previous meeting, but it wasn't correct. And so I had to go back to the law firm, and now we've got some correct bills. All right. So the first one is this is adjusted number 1. The first one is for $4,992. Okay, so I motion that ANC 2G apply for the Expert Assistance Grant Fund for 501 New York Avenue for $492. So for the Donahue Themac and Miller PLC.
Seconded.
Okay. Second, Howard. All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Barry?
Aye.
Okay, great. Okay, and I'm gonna, and then actually after this, we're gonna talk about the check. So there's two separate motions for each one. There's the check and there's the actual grant amount. So this, where's my number two? Where's my number two here? One second.
Commissioner Niger, I see Tony has his
Okay, so can
Tony
you
has
let
his
Tony,
hand up.
Tony? Go ahead and let Tony talk while I get my screen to work right.
Okay. You
Hi,
said
Tony.
you when you made the motion, you said $499, whatever. You didn't say 4,000.
Oh, I didn't?
No,
Okay.
you'll hear when you go back and listen to it.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
let me
I was wondering about that too. Thank you.
Okay.
So this Tony's used to me being like, about these. Okay, so wait, let me go
All right.
back. So $4,992.
Mhm.
Okay, so I move that ANC 2G support the application for the Expert Grant Assistance Fund, Expert Assistance Fund grant for 51 New York Avenue for the BZA case for $4,992 to Donahue, Themac, and Miller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Nicole seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sheena?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes, great. Okay, let me find number two here, 1 second. Wait. That's number one, two, oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is part two. So this amount is for $4,896. So I move that ANC 2G apply for the Expert Assistance Fund grant for 501 New York Avenue for $896 for Donahue, Themac, and Miller PLC. Do I have a second?
Friendly
Seconded.
amendment.
Yes.
You did it again. You
I did?
4,000. Yeah, $4,896.
96. Okay, friendly amendment taken. Okay. The amount is $4,896. And Alex second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. We have one last one here. Where's number three? Oh, here's number three. Okay. And this is for $2,304. So I move that ANC 2G support the application for the Expert Assistance Fund grant for 501 New York Avenue for the BZA case for $2,304 for Donahue, Themac, and Miller PLC. Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. And now we're going to I'm going to motion for the checks too. So hold on. Okay, 1 second. And then, oops, wait. Okay. Okay, so let me motion for these checks here. And so let me tell you what's currently going on with the before I motion for these checks, so everyone explains. So I met with Commissioner Brown, former Commissioner Brown, the other day, and I received the checkbook from him, and we went over the banking information. I've also been in contact with the Office of ANC about being the person and accessing the bank, and then I'm going to meet with the bank hopefully soon once we receive our minutes, and we'll talk about signature cards, et cetera. And then Commissioner McCarty, I'll have a meeting with him about the banking and access and all that. But in the meantime, Commissioner McCarty and myself still have access to sign checks. So let me just do a motion for all these checks here. And what's going to happen with this large amount of money is that we are going to wait to pay them until we receive the grant funds. Okay, this is a significant amount. If we were to pay this all now, we wouldn't have any money. So we're going to wait until we receive the grant funds. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me, please. 1 second. Okay.
I have a question real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
Since the BZA, are we expecting, since it's been finalized, are we expecting any more invoices or to use their services regarding this? Or is
So
this
for
the
now-
last ending?
So for now, we have ended this, right? The BZA case is over. In a previous, it was the November meeting, we had discussed with the entire commission, if there was further legal action, we would use this lawyer. And so we are kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern. As you can tell from the previous discussion, this is not right away with all this stuff. There is some potential legal action we could still take. And so we would retain this same lawyer. Now, will it happen? I don't know. So it is way in the future, way in the future. But as far as bills or dialogue with our lawyer, that has ended at the end of November.
And this is coming, this funding is coming by grant money, not our operating expenses, correct?
Correct. And so we have the Office of ANC is totally aware about this large bill. And we've been very lucky to receive this money, because I can assure you, if we have not, we wouldn't have had any of the stuff in the past. So we were very blessed with that. Because it was, and this is actually I don't want to say inexpensive, but when I did my research about lawyers and interviewed people and went on and on, we got a really great lawyer for a really good price. So
perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to do four motions here, and please correct me if I say the thousands wrong. Okay. I move that ANC 2G support the check for Donahue Themac and Miller PLC for $720 for services.
Seconded.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner McCarty seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Motion passes. I move that ANC 2G support the check for $4,992 for legal services for the BZA case for Donahue, Themac, and Miller PLC. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Second.
Okay, Alex seconds. All in favor? Aye. Okay. I move that ANC 2G support the check for $2,304 for legal services for the BZA case at 501 New York Avenue for Donahue, Themac, and Miller PLC.
Seconded.
Second. Alex seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I know Tony's laughing on the other side. And wait, when was that? That was
3 out of 4.
Okay. I move that ANC 2G support the check for $4,896 for the legal services for the BZA case for 501 New York Avenue for Donahue, Themac, and Miller PLC. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Second.
Okay, great. Alex seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, great. Thank you for your patience. So I did all 4, right? Yes. Right. Okay. All right. So did I do all 4? Yes. Okay. It's a lot for me. All right. It's finally over. All right. So now we have all right. So I sent you all the quarterly financial report for fiscal year 25 quarter 1 here, and I have it here. So what does anyone have any questions? We currently have let's see here. So in our checking account, we currently have $12,146.68.
Are you able to share that on your screen, Commissioner
Yeah, I do
Nygaard?
actually do. Hold on 1 second. I have
Thank
that teed
you.
up. 1 second.
And I'm assuming the $16,992 disbursement is the legal fees, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because that was through the past year and a half. correct. 1 second here. Oop, oop. Okay, 1 second. Boop. Boop. Okay, can y'all see that?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner.
Do you want me to scroll down some more?
No,
Wait,
that's
what?
fine. Thank you. Yeah, you've got it all in there.
Okay, great. All right, I'm gonna get many sessions with the bank and the Office of ANC and all that. We'll tee it up correctly. All right, so, and what's gonna happen is that if you all approve this, who will sign will be Commissioner McCarty, since he's chairperson, myself, and then Commissioner Shea. Okay, and this is the paper here.
What is PO served for 825?
That's the post office box.
Ah, there you go. Thank you.
Yep.
And then Commissioner Nigro is the recording secretary in the communication line item.
Yes, that's Karen.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, any questions?
Sorry, but yeah, so are we paying $825 for a post office box?
Yep.
Okay, I don't know how much those cost. That's inflation. Okay.
Yeah, so we have to have a post, even though I got the key from Commissioner Watkins and from Commissioner Brown. I don't believe we have much correspondence via mail at all at this point. So, but we're required to have one.
And this is the quarter, not a month.
Yep, Q1. Fiscal year 25, starting from October.
And is that the annual fee for the PO box, or that's
Tony's
the
got his hand
quarterly fee?
raised. Tony's got his hand raised. Let Tony talk. Hold on.
No,
Tony's my backup.
the POS is the personal operation services, which are
I thought this,
basically Karen Yealy's fees.
where's the post office box
$275
then?
per month.
Where's the post office box then?
That was taken care of it last year. You'll get a new one for this.
Oh, okay.
Right. These are the categories, and you have to put something in. I mean, all the expenses in a category. She falls under the POS.
So but when did we pay for I don't remember when we paid for the post office box.
It'll be next. It'll be next quarter because
Oh, okay.
you have to renew in January.
Oh, got it. Okay.
The first quarter for 25 started in October. October through December.
And what is the communications at then? What are we paying $883 a quarter for that?
Was that stamp thing then? What was it again?
No. I'd have to go back and look, but if you'll see all the charges that are outlined in the attached transactions.
Didn't we do a mailing? Am I making this
that
up?
that was about 2 quarters ago.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's in that second sheet with the transactions, and
Yep.
you'll see how it totals up. Yeah.
So if we go to the
Anybody
next sheet,
want
we'll see
to
it?
go through it? I can go through it with them.
That was the attachment that I sent earlier.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. When you
I'm
do
gonna
your
pay Tony
budget,
off the slide.
yeah, when you do your budget, you basically outline everything that you propose to use, how you're going to use it, and as the charges come in, and you have to input it into the system, you have to put it in one of those 9 categories. And there's a definition for each one of those. I can give it all to you. Give you all that listing.
All right.
That's how they draw it out.
And my assistant, Tony Brown.
Mhm.
Okay, so any other questions? And we're just gonna motion for this.
I'm very sorry, but I am not seeing, I'm seeing the quarterly report one pager. And I don't know if it's just because I'm snowblind
Is
from
that
how
the
much email I
attachment?
have.
When it attached, did it not do the whole thing?
No,
I'm just seeing the one page. There's a second page, but it's blank.
So it didn't attach?
It looks like there's only one attachment, and it's a 2-pager, and it's this, and the second page of it is blank.
Oh, I don't know. Tony, do you remember how to get it from here?
I can send it to you.
But I think, how come it didn't do the PDF? It doesn't do the entire PDF?
Well, no, I printed everything out. It was in the
I
packet.
know.
The page might have been flipped. I don't know.
Oh, I have your paper, but how do you? So my question is, can you from this screen then?
Oh no, this
Oh,
because are you in the system?
yeah, right here.
Okay, at the top where it says quarterly transactions, hit that
Where?
down, right where it says quarterly report at the top. Next it
Okay.
says right there. There are all the expenses,
Beautiful.
and it'll tell you everything what and how it was charged.
So there's no, oh, so I did it wrong today. So there's no like upload in the whole thing.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
so how did you scan us before? Did you separately scan it?
No, I just printed out. This system is so
Oh,
antiquated.
okay.
You can't
Yeah,
convey
maybe you have
stuff.
to select like 2 things instead of 1 to do the printout.
Right.
Well, I think is what Tony's saying is that I'll have to print this out and then scan it
Scan it in.
separately for you guys,
Yep.
since it didn't do that.
Do we think we could review it in 30 seconds here?
Yeah, I mean, what are your?
I'm just looking through it right now, just to.
Okay, yeah, take time.
Just because if I'm going to do a motion, I feel like I need to actually have read it.
I also did we answer Commissioner Garrett's question about the communication line items? Like, are you able to point out which transactions are logged under that category?
I don't know the numbers yet, Tony. Do you
Yeah.
remember the numbers?
The communication line is number 3. Go down on your list of transactions. You'll see 3. That was something that you did, Rochelle. That was the posters.
Yes, so that's right. Oh, that's what that is.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
We did the posters.
Right. For 501 New York.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Right. And that had to go into communications.
Thank you. That
And
makes sense.
In this website, is this just for the treasurer and the chair to have
Yes.
access, or do we all have access to this?
No, just designated people. It would you probably will need a backup person, so you all decide who you need to be the backup. Rochelle was my backup.
Yeah. So it'll be Commissioner McCarty and me again, or
Okay.
me again.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
but everything's pretty much self-explanatory. You'll see what was spent on what. It's all outlined in there.
And we have a robust dialogue with Dawn, who's at the Office of
Yeah.
ANC. I would frequent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Because the only check we have, well, besides the other legal checks, but normally the only check that is written, unless it's something exceptional from a commissioner, is the check for Karen for the minute taking services.
Right. And I wrote that check, but we have not finished it, so it has not gone out or it been entered into the system. That's the only check that would be outstanding at this time.
Okay. And so next month, now that I know that the system didn't do it right, I'll scan this entire thing and PDF it. So.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? No.
God bless you.
We'll pay Tony Brown on the side. He'll be my help. He'll be like the guy standing behind me. He'll be like back here. All right. So I move that ANC 2G approve the quarterly financial report for fiscal year 25, quarter one.
Second.
That you, Howard, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Great. Okay. Holy cow. Are we almost to the end? Wait a minute. Okay. The minutes. So there was a change with the minutes, and I think Commissioner McCarty, you emailed Karen.
Yes,
in the minute-
Karen is modifying the minutes, but and thank you, Commissioner Padro, for highlighting there was a discrepancy in the vote last month on the 11th from December on the 11th Street bike lanes, and Karen is amending that to reflect that I in fact did vote in favor of the bike lanes, and that Sheena voted against. So we were just flopped, and we got to get moved back into the right categories there.
Yep. Okay, any other questions about the minutes? Nope. Okay. I move that ANC 2G approve the minutes for December 12th of 2024. Do I have a second? Okay, Alex seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 600. Okay. And now we have the only expense is for Karen. And hold on one second here. All right. Let's double check her invoice here. Okay, so every month we get charged $275 from Karen, and she transcribes the minutes. Okay. Second. All right. I move that ANC 2G pay Karen Yele $275 for her minute taking services.
Seconded.
Okay, Alex seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Great. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the meeting dates for 2025. These are the dates that I have, or let's talk about first. So we currently meet on the second Thursday of the month. Are people okay with that? No, yes.
Yes, I
Okay,
would
great.
prefer that we keep that schedule.
Okay, so someone double check me, because I'm kind of tired, but let's see. I've got February 13th, March 13th, April 10th, May 8th, June 12th, July 10th. We break in August, September 11th, October 9th, November 13th, and December 11th. And I didn't see any conflict at all for any holiday or anything. And we certainly can change if something comes up, but this is what any comments?
I'll just say those are the dates that I listed down as the second Thursday of each month earlier today, so they line up with what I calculated.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that these dates be adopted for our meetings for 2025. Okay, and those dates are again February 13th, March 13th, April 10th, May 8th, June 12th, July 10th, September 11th, October 9th, November 13th, and December 11th of 2025.
Second.
Okay, because McCartney seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, motion passes. All right, super. Okay, anything else, commissioners?
I do have one item of old business. When we voted on the 899 O Street Northwest PUD modification last month, we did not designate a representative to represent the commission in front of the zoning commission, and so I wanted to make a motion on that. So I would move that ANC 2G designate Alexander Padro as the commission's representative before the Zoning Commission of the District of Columbia in the matter of the 899 O Street Northwest Hyatt House PUD modification, and then we report that to the Zoning Commission.
Do I have a second? Okay, Commissioner McCarty seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, everyone. What a great first meeting, and congratulations to all of us. And 3 hours. It'll be Commissioner McCarty's goal to make it less time, but everyone have a wonderful night, and we will see everyone. When is it? February 13th. Be here. All right. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. All right.
Good
Some
night,
of those
everyone.
walk away.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Good night.
7-Eleven. You coming to 7-Eleven,
Thank you.
Nicole? I'm going to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I'll see you over there if you want.
I'm gonna
I'll
go.
put my snow boots on. Okay.
I'm gonna go.
All
Okay,
right.
bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.